You know, that's really funny. I mentioned at the start of the previous part that, like, I could have accidentally had, like, desktop audio on. You guys could have listened to me watching Taskmaster videos or something. But, this time it wasn't. Does OBS remember? Did it keep it muted? Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 9 of the Janthir Wilds playthrough. We are not only on part 9 of the series, but we're also on part 9 of the story steps now as well. Out of 10. So, we're getting along now. And, we've seen a good amount of the stuff. We've had a lot of discussions. The previous 2 parts began with quite hefty intros, in which I had like very, very big topics for you guys. This, likewise, will also have an intro section like that. This one I don't anticipate being as long. Mostly, it's kind of more discussion with you guys in the community and some of the ideas. Also, I made a ridiculous mistake on the previous part that I just okay, it's not really a ridiculous mistake, but it bugs me that I made it, that I have to address. So, yeah, we're going to do that, but then there's also a bunch of in-game things that I want to talk about. You know, expansion related, not necessarily story. But I guess we'll just run through that. So first of all, there was the whole reshade conversation going on before. For a good while in the early afternoon today, I was talking to, what's his name? Shop Stew? I'm so sorry, I'm blanking on his name here. Shopping Stew. And my god, the guy's a bit of a genius, really, in terms of different things he knows about how reshade works and the history of various plugins and things. Unfortunately, after quite a lot of tweaking, couldn't really get the shimmer reduced for me, for my setup. And what we basically learned was if you play at like a high frame rate, his specific solution for temporal anti-aliasing doesn't work very well. So, I don't know. Basically, I don't have anything very fancy going on with reshade here. I've got a bit of sharpening. It hopefully does look better than it did on the previous streams. And I've got the shimmering quite low, but I was messing around with the NVIDIA control panel more than anything else. So we'll sort of return to that later. In theory, I could just play it at 60 FPS and lock it there, and then that might make the shimmer alright. And as far as you guys are concerned, and actually what you get to watch on the streams and stuff, it should look good. But I think it's okay. Now, on that note, I've kind of done a terrible disservice to this Let's Play. On accident. I do apologise for that. So, you'll remember that there's a new slider. Well, kind of, it's not even really very new. But there's a slider... map environment. I think there's one right at the very bottom, okay? Environment zone intensity. This is really easy to overlook. I have it on minimum. I don't know why I have it on minimum. I must have put it on minimum at some point. Remember, it's below the motion blur slider, which as far as I'm aware to this day is bugged and does nothing. Literally nothing. I remember when I play tested the POF stuff, when you got on a Raptor and you dashed, there was significant motion blur. And I think it was to affect stuff like that. There were some ArenaNet streams where they were showing off Griffin stuff, if you remember, in the POF era, where you could also see it. But as far as the actual shipped client, I think this has always been bugged and always done nothing. Unless one of you guys in the comments can prove me wrong. I'm pretty sure it does nothing. Anyway, so we're talking about bugged sliders at the very bottom. This one, environment zone intensity, if you remember, this has a thing where in some maps it had the reverse effect. Like, minimum when you're grinding Doom. In Doom's Cathedral, minimum is maximum. But elsewhere in the game, maximum is minimum, so who the hell knows what the correct slider is for a lot of content. So I've had it off, okay? I don't know the exact reason why I've had it off, but it does have a pretty big impact on the maps. So I'm sorry about that. And here, if I turn it up, you'll see, we actually see it's raining now. We've been hearing the rain, I don't know how much we've seen. But there's like mist and fog and stuff. Like if we come over here. Like, it doesn't seem to be so prominent right now. Well, look, yeah, no, there you go. Look at all the clouds and the mist and stuff drifting around there. Look, I'm in it. Oh, I missed. It all disappears. Look at this. There's a huge impact. Look at it. It's massive. It's a massive impact on the map. And I presume the Lowland shot, I haven't seen any of it. So, yeah, at least for these episodes, I'll have it on now. And I've wanted to point that out, first as an apology, second as just, hey guys, turn it up yourselves. So that's 2 things I wanted to talk about. Also, between the last 2 parts, apparently there was a Reddit thread about the series, and people were saying it was really... Look, I've had a lot of comments already of people saying it's nice to be invigorated in the lore again. And believe me, I feel the same way. A lot of people have been saying, oh, WP, it's good to have you talking about lore and stuff again. And, you know, that's... I will always do it if the stuff's being written and if it's captivating me. And, well, there you go. So, yeah, it was very nice, and it's cool that people are really into it. In the Reddit thread, I think there were comments of people saying, you know, it's good and everything, but it sucks that I can't just casually play and get this. I have to go digging and I have to go hunting, and And look, I get that as well. I don't really like that either. I wish Guild Wars didn't feel that way. I'm in a weird spot with it where I want to sing and praise and applause everything that gets put in for this really fascinating story that they're crafting. I want to say that's brilliant. At least it's there, you know? Because there have been patches where the main story is really good, but a lot of this other stuff just isn't hitting. So I want to applaud it. At the same time, it's like, this isn't the best way to implement it, I think. That's why, again, I'll just say over and over, I really don't think that a lot... Like, because here's the thing, so a lot of this isn't even just... It's not just a conversation about side stories and side quests hiding as achievements and side quests hiding as collections and dialogue hidden, you know, deep within menus. It's not just about that. It's about how much character we get from the main Golden Path scenes versus how much character we have to divine and interpret from the lore around it. So, I don't know, you know, and it's definitely this thing where they've only got a certain amount of airtime, so to speak. And they probably, you know, if you're at ArenaNet and you're writing it, you're in that writer's room, it's probably the best job in the world. It's probably amazing. You sit there and you have 1,000 ideas and you workshop and it just goes on and on and on. You've got this epic in your minds, you know. You and the team create this incredible thing. And then you have this agonizing thing of, okay, how do we actually fucking implement this, you know? And it's going to have to shrink. But one way you can escape that shrinkage is with these notes and things around. So I don't know. But I will say, look, I don't think it's ideal. Because the better this is, but the more hidden it is, the more I'm like, ah. Anyway, that's kind of all stuff we've talked about. I want to give you guys a quick progress update here. Oh, we have had a donation, it looks like, here. RPG Crash. Is that 50 Australian dollars? Dude, that's so nice of you. Thank you, man. That's no small amount of money. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And again, if anybody donates, ask me a question or something at the same time, because I'll respond and I'll answer. And hello to everyone else in live chat, obviously, as well. So, a couple of updates between the last part. If you remember, we were on this story step, and except I had a bar to fill, which was generically do events around the map. Now, I'd had a few messages from the live chat over the last few parts where you guys have been saying a moment is coming up to do the meta. It's really good. I think that bar, filling that bar, is what you were referring to. That would be a perfect time to do the meta. Now, the meta... I haven't done. I'm completely blind on it, so to speak. But I have read the UI that you were all desperate for me to not notice. And the spoiler, so to speak, is it's the two titans again. It's Decima and Greer. They're harassing this map. And so there is a point in the story in which you've killed Greer, but he's still here in the meta. And that would be a spoiler, I suppose, that he's not really dead. Because there's that moment where he's back, right? It's not a big deal to me. I never really cared about that. I would have been fine. It takes quite a lot for me to spoil something for me, because so much is about the execution rather than the fact of the thing. Anyway, so I would like to do the meta, and we'll keep an eye on it. As far as I can make out, I've done all the big events on the first map, and doing the meta here would round this map out as well. So that was one thing, and we're done, and we're ready. In addition to that, I also finished my Warclaw Mastery here. So the final tier, this is the grindy one, so to speak. I always bitch and piss and moan about masteries that they're not a very good system, and I have like some deep-held beliefs about account binding and stuff. But every single expansion, I have a little bit of fun while grinding them. So I had my little bit of fun here. There we go, well rested. This will cost us 6 points, half what we have in our stockpile. But this is quite cool. This is a huge buff. This is like seriously good. This means you can fly for long. Increase endurance regeneration for all mounts, all of them. Because remember, the end of every line shares something to all mounts. By 20%. So you can fly 20% longer on a siege turtle. You can dash 20% more on a jackal. You can do a lot of stuff on a lot of mounts. It's wild. And in terms of like going back to old expansions and adventures and stuff, I'm kind of excited in this. I wanted to try this before going back to do more adventures. Speaking of which, I've had a little look at the Janthir Wilds, like, achievements and stuff. So if we look at Lowland Shore, look at how much content I still have to play in the X-Pack. There's a lot. This is just the first map. And I was like, wow. And to me, this is value for money, for what it's worth. This is actually good. But also, a lot of them are adventures. So, like, triples can be eliminated once I've done the adventures. But I like adventures, so we will do those. And look, we've got the Warclaw done. Not only did I get the Warclaw done, but I started progressing the Lowland Mastery again and the Homestead one. I've got this by accident, basically. So we can collect these. I guess let's do homesteading here. and we'll just keep casually climbing up on that. So that's that thing. Next, there was this idea of fishing. I was thinking about fishing, but I'd have to like get fishing food and a bait and stuff on this character, and I couldn't really be bothered. Oh, by the way, with Reshade, I am trying depth of field. So as you can see, when I'm zoomed in here, I have a DOF effect on. Now when I zoom out, I have it to slowly turn off. And there's a thing, like, when you see my Final Fantasy series coming up next, trust me, it's going to be a good one, guys. That game's fantastic once the story gets going. I have a thing where if something clips in front of the camera for a second, like that tree just did, there and there, it'll blur. So I've slowed the blur down to see if that makes it a little bit more palatable, you know. DOF is tricky to have in a fun way, you know, where it's playable but also cinematic. But yeah, so anyway, I was thinking of fishing. How do we get from fishing to this? Oh, just because I zoomed in, I guess. But I didn't. And besides, look, for this little Q&A section I'm about to do, it doesn't really matter very much, does it? We're going to be looking at the comments on screen. It doesn't matter whether there's something in the background. I do ultimately want to fish. I didn't really fish in Secrets of the Obscure either. And so that's the funny thing. I think I can officially rate this expansion higher than Secrets of the Obscure. For one reason, if not many other reasons, one reason at the very least, which is that I'm actually doing the side stuff as I went through. With Secrets of the Obscure, I kind of wanted to do fishing. I felt I should do fishing. And like a lot of the side collections, big lore stories, shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't. Fucking didn't. Secrets of the Obscure did not capture me enough to do that. Not on original release, which I thought was good, nor through any of the Nios patches, which, you know, we all know how we feel about those. And yet here I am in Janthir Wilds. I'm actually doing that shit. And on that note, let's have a look here. One final thing that I did was, oh yeah, Cryptid Chase. So we were doing this achievement in the last one, this side story, I should say. And it basically, it had us go get some samples, and that was easy. But then I needed to do events, and I didn't want to wait around for the events, so we didn't do it in the last part. I've done that off screen now. So, we'll cash this in and we'll have this finished. But also, I'm going to share with you guys on screen now, there was a little bit of lore that I couldn't help but get, unfortunately, with these. So, here on screen, I took a screenshot of my chat box. So, so one of the events I did for this Cryptid Chase thing was Valravn. So, it was a person poisoning Valravn nests, a Coden, roaming through the Lowlands. Here, I'll show you. It was just here. It was you didn't miss anything. Look, I've even got my personal waypoint there. It's just an event, an escort that goes from here to here. That's it. Right. It's really nothing special. But the story is, it's a Coden who's poisoning Valravn nests. And they say this dialogue as they're going. Feel no remorse for them, i.e. the Valravns that we're poisoning. Each one slain spares one of our own an even crueler fate. The cubs most of all. These creatures prey upon them, even the ones whose lives were already cut short. So there it's talking about, what? Stillborns? And the Valravn will prey on them anyway? They rob the corpse for the child's heart in hopes of turning into something far more vile. A Valravn Knight. I didn't realise they were called Valravn Knights, by the way. Can you imagine an act so sick as to steal a fallen child's heart? Well, I think a lot of animals eat carrion, but okay. Coming for you, I am. And by the way, this is like a motherly Coden who's really sad. Voice actress knocked out of the park. She's like very sad, and clearly she's lost her kid. So do you remember I mentioned in a previous part, like ArenaNet do sometimes write dark stuff, but they don't ever really indulge. Here they're indulging, and they're not pussyfooting around it. And it was a good event. Imagine a creature so selfish, deeming itself a knight. Avenge you I will, whispering Brook. Hush, dear, Mama will make it right. She's like crying as she says this. And then we beat the event, and she says, stranger, my bearkin are indebted to your self-sacrifice. You are thanked on all of our behalf. And then it says everything's all right now. I think I couldn't see, but maybe the Coden was carrying a body away from the scene. Hear that, dear? Mama and this kind stranger have made everything all right again. She's like muttering to the body of her lost kid. It's all right. She's like crying. So when I say they indulge, they're indulging. It's very dark. And, yeah, I like a bit of edgy, mature. Well, see, the thing is, just because it's dark, it doesn't mean it's mature, does it? But anyway, I like it. I like a bit of yin with a yang, and I think that was quite fun. Another quick thing I noticed, and I was recommended this, Buildcraft. Some of you guys have been sending me Buildcraft mentions. I'm not really that into the combat of the game, the RPG elements of the game, the Buildcraft at this point. It might never come back. It might. I don't know. But so I appreciate the Buildcraft comments. I doubt you'll see I end up playing anything too much more varied or wild. You know, once we beat the story, we'll probably do a couple of episodes, and maybe I'll be on an alt at that point. I was actually watching... someone's leaving comments on my... If you guys remember, just before End of Dragons, I did a full playthrough of the entire game, a live game. There were like 20 episodes. Each was 6 hours or something. I can't remember. Anyway, I would go through all of Guild Wars. And I was on a thief in that story, and somebody was dropping a comment. I looked, and I was like, man, I love the way my thief looks. So I kind of want to play a thief with a spear at the moment. But it's more motivated by, like, the flavour and vibe than any genuine interest in the Buildcraft. But, and, you know, talking about that's a whole other thing. Anyway, this relic seems kind of cool. A Storm Singer. After you use a movement skill, your next attack creates an arc of chain lightning that strikes nearby enemies. Sounds like a static discharge kind of proc. I was talking about that in Spud just earlier today. Okay, and finally, when I filled up my event, when I did all the events on the next map and procced the next bit of the story, Malice immediately started speaking to me. I couldn't stop this. I wasn't in a position to capture it. So she just said this. It wasn't much, but I did a couple of events, and then she said, Commander, finally, some good news. Keith and I have a lead on combating the Titans. We think that Bloodstone might be our missing piece. Meet us at the research camp at Ground Zero. And then I said, leaving now. Pokey's resting in the homestead, by the way. He's in good hands. And Malice said, glad to hear it. Kid's a tough one. We'll talk more when you're here. So, the next story step is very simple. We're going to go meet Malice and Keith and see their theory about bloodstones being used to fight the Titans. Now, it looks like the meta on the next map, the Titans are eating bloodstone. So I have no idea how that's also how we use that to fight them. Maybe it's a resonance thing like Kraukatoric or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, meet us at the research camp at Ground Zero. And I don't know where that is. I guess I'll have a look now, actually. But Ground Zero might be the Bloodstone explosion site. It is! So I'm excited to go here. This is interesting. So yeah, alright. But before we do that, let's finish Cryptid Chase. Another thing I'd really like to do is read all the books in the first map. I feel, because there's only a couple left. And I feel like we're kind of moving on from the first map here at this point. I think this is a perfect time to read these books. So, okay, yeah, and I said I looked through all the achievements, right? The reason I was looking through all the achievements was because I wanted to know for sure, have I found all the lore? See, that was the thing with Secrets of the Obscure. I kind of, because I never did everything, I kind of just felt weird about the lore and covering it all, and because I didn't know the full picture. But I've looked at the achievements, and it really, guys, we're going to do this, and as long as we've read all the books, and we've done the side quests, I think we're basically, we've done the whole lot, which is really good. It puts us all into a position where we can comfortably speculate and contribute to real discussion, you know. We're not in the dark about one thing or another or whatever.
Because he does not fight does not mean the skill is not
I mean,
still
we
there.
could be, obviously. There might be any number of random pieces of dialogue that we're missing. It was here, right? It was this house. Oh, immediately I don't like that depth of field. It's too slow. Why is it not culled back out, for example, right now? Let's turn that off. There we go. Let's not do that. It will be testing as we go forward. This is Echoes of Night. Hold on. Ward. Oh, we got to go to Moon Camp first. Whoops. We got to go to Eno and give the samples there. And then we got a lot of cool lore to talk about here, guys. But it's it's not like on one giant topic like it has been on the previous parts that I know I'm gonna have loads and loads and loads to say. It's on like a variety of different things. The head archivist from Stalwart Heart. Hello, Wayfinder. Would you have the time to help me with a study I've currently got going on? Holy fuck! What is this? Okay, this was not the plan. What? You're a polar codon. Hello? Hello, Wayfinder. Do you have time to help me with the study I've got currently going on? Why isn't my hotkey working? Damn it! Did I unbind it at some point? Yes, brother. There we go. Ah, yes, brother. I've currently got going on. There is some odd wisp-like... Oh, this is the wisp one. Wisp-like creatures that inhabit this space that I'd like to get some field data on. Sure.
Janthir proves a mysterious land, Wayfinder, even for the Ward. Each question answered, unearthed several more. And these wisps are no different. Studying them can give the Ward insight into their purpose and potential value. If you come across any in your travels, report your findings to me. Your first-hand accounts will benefit my research.
Oh, you're not going to talk to me about the Lowland Coden, then? You're just going to talk about the Wisps. Hello, Wayfinder. How goes the search? Can you remind me what the Wisps look like?
The being you're searching for looks something like this.
Oh, what the hell?
If you see any, report back as soon as possible.
That's a very high-quality, optional follow-up dialogue. Wow. Yeah, in the previous part, obviously, we went in the cave and we saw a wisp there, and I saw that one of the side stories, I guess we've started it now, one of the side stories is to find wisps. I honestly didn't think it would be that interesting, because they're just wisps. Like, it seems like the perfect kind of story where they could just be really vague and offhanded about it. I guess I'll eyeball it just because. So we're now in the middle of 4 side stories.
What are we doing?
But we're about to finish one.
Listening.
And what are we listening for?
And it's gone. I'm not entirely sure, but Zizzle is up to something
Oh,
odd.
Zizzle, really?
I've heard barks and squawks and all sort of odd animalistic noises coming from the research area.
Zizzle, up to something odd? Never.
Yeah, Zizzle's one of those characters that we met in Secrets of the Obscure.
Hello,
But...
Wayfinder. What a magnificent opportunity this is. As you may have heard, the Astral Ward as a whole has long been barred from visiting the islands within Janthir.
What is all
Given
this?
the potential dangers, Maban and Iskarin held strict watch over the region.
Did we hear this on
But
episode
they did
1?
little research into the rich, vibrant history of this place. Our records are simply abysmal. The opportunity we have today is remarkable.
I was in here.
Centuries of untouched relics beneath our feet. White Mantle, Wayfarer, archaic coding history, Mersat, oh my, where does one even begin? Are you still listening to me?
Yes. Oh, that's it. So we're not... Oh, that really felt like a quest was starting there. Did he speak to me in episode 1 and I just completely blanked that out? Speaking of things... Oh, no. There's a... Speaking of things I blanked out, we'll see in a second. Zizzle's secret project. You probably shouldn't touch this. Is Zizzle actually here? I don't see Zizzle here. It looks like we got another mail. Yeah, guys, a lot of you are asking to join the guild, and a lot of you already have max guilds. I don't know whether something bugged about the expansion of the max guilds or something with the whole alliance situation. I don't know what that is. But, yeah, unfortunately, I can't get you in if you already are at max. So, just please do consider that. That's not to say no one's getting in. Lots of people are, but... yeah, it's always a bit of a disappointment to have to say no. Is it round the back here? I mean, what is this? That's in a room. That's not the same coding, is it? Do you have dialogue? No. How do we get in there?
Warden. Yes, we've got Astral Ward at every Lowland outpost. They've got 3 main establishments. The main village, Harvest Den.
Oh, we just press F on the door, don't we?
They're hunting and fishing outposts.
How are they liking the added company?
Well enough. Anxious, but we're keeping our numbers low. This isn't a takeover, after all. Just an outreach mission.
Good, good. Have the waypoints been
Oh, look, they
deployed?
talk about that.
Yes. That has been another subject of debate. As you warned, they are not eager to use our magic. Though some are quite curious, the key is respecting those boundaries.
Good enough. Keep it up.
I wish I'd heard that when I was first here. Not just because the waypoint detail's quite cool, but second, it would have hammered in a bit more. I wouldn't have forgotten that they distrusted magic. Okay, is it over here? Yeah, it's you. Hi. I have your samples. These will do nicely. Excellent work.
Oh, no, Wayfinder. You're the one who's been encouraging this raving loon? Met him during my outreach rounds. Ranted for an hour about some troll with bird feet. Then came the letters. Can't keep track of them anymore. He sent so many. Senseless rambling scrawled over every page, and now, he has you bringing me dung piles. I'm putting an end to it. Here, I'll analyze his deer droppings and troll nose hairs. And when the results read 100% idiot, maybe he'll take a hint. Expect a detailed report of my findings.
Wow, that guy's not up for any shit. Here's a book we never got. Field research notes from Narcisse. The fish of this region are simply fascinating. There seems to be something in these waters that grants the spawn enough nutrients to delay migration. Certainly I will be able to collect more samples. Certainly I'll need to collect more samples, but unlike in other parts of Tyria, these full-grown salmon seem to be living their entire lives within the deltas. Some have even been seen returning back upstream outside the spawning season. Hopefully Foro will be as excited about these findings as I am. What a joy it is to be observing nature within its own realm, not the Bastion. Indeed, by the way. Oh, that's my duck again. That duck has paid off big time. I've seen it in so many weird places, climbing around on tables and desks and just fucking around, basically. Okay, cool. So, yeah, this was supposed to be like a 2-minute thing. Cryptid chase. We've already gone all over the place here. Wait. Meet Echoes of Night and Ward member Eno near the location of Unknown Track 2 to learn about what they found. Yeah, where exactly is that? Maybe I should open the wiki page for it again. I'll turn off this thing on my other screen for Shocking Aura. I was thinking Shocking Aura would be really cool with Cannibal, but I don't think you can really give it to yourself anymore because the Rune of the Air T6 is gone now, I think. Also, it would be kind of amazing to have it on like NG5, right? NG Shield 5? Cryptid. I mean, surely this is going to end with something. This is either have he's proved right or it will be a deliberate anticlimax. I'm down for both. Okay. So here we go. Finally, we are off to the bay. I'm not sure what the NPCs were talking about over there. But, you know. Right, so we can go there. We're quite high up. Do you guys think we might be able to Griffin all the way there? That could be quite cool. Let's see. Might be able to experience a little bit more of the endurance buff here as well. Considering this means 20% more flaps. I really want the boost. Ugh. Hold on, let's try that again. Kind of estimated that a bit shittily there, didn't I? Yeah, this will be good. Right. So we go down, we boost. I'm sure we'll be alright now. Question is simply getting over... Oh, wrong button. I swear my controls for the Griffin have reversed. I've not been a good flyer ever since. Okay. Oh my god, look at this. Yeah, I noticed this about this map, that there's a huge amount of verticality in the town that I hadn't really spotted before. Okay, apparently it's beneath us. Ho ho, we're dropping a long way. Very nice. Wow. Jesus. You guys know when you go to the beach and it's always like a lot of hilliness, you know? I mean, this takes it to a whole other level. Right, hello you two. Nice use of phasing here and teleporting the NPCs to different areas of the same map at the same time. Wayfinder, you're here. Are you ready to hear the results? I'm on pins and needles myself. Oh, I want to speak to this guy. No, he won't say anything. All right, let's hear it.
At last, the Outlander arrives. Let us discuss our findings, yes?
Yes. Well, I was able to identify the majority of your unknown samples, most being the result of native wildlife. However, 2 I was not able to account for. No record corresponds to anything even close. It's not definitive, but...
Praise the clouds upon which I walk in elation. No longer shall the world turn a blind eye to the crow-footed skulker.
Oh, they're sniggering. Who, though?
Hold on. Who's there?
What? Holy shit, that's... Whoa.
Why, that's the sound of the trees tittering in delight of the truth.
No, it's not.
I'd love these
It's
as
some
decorations.
stupid kids. Don't suppose you have anything to do with this?
Hello.
It was all the work of the crow-footed skulker.
My discovery was a sham of adolescent cruelty. Cubhood all over again. This is
Well, your village heads will surely hear about your callous prankery and unchaperoned visit to the bog.
Not fair! We weren't even in the bog. Not going anywhere near the queen. Are you mad?
Then, how do you explain...
Wait, was there some kind of really loud roar there as a part of this story?
What was that?
Yeah, there was.
Huh? Oh. Oh, ho, ho!
Okay. Wait, I must be missing something. Hold on. We got 2 dings here. We got a mastery in a chest, and then a mastery, and then a mastery. So what are they suggesting? That's the sound of the trees tittering in delight. No, it's not. It's just these stupid kids. And they were playing a prank on him. They say it was the work of the crow-footed skulker. He says it was a sham. And he says, well, I'm going to tell the village elders about your callous prankery. Not fair. Yeah, because to do this event, I had to kill the Bog Queen. One of the... Just so that this is clear for everyone watching, between the 2 episodes, I had to do a couple of events on this map. One of them was kill the Bog Queen. So if these kids were just trying to deceive him by dropping evidence around, then that means they were near the Bog Queen. And they say, hold on, though, we weren't even near the bog. So then how did that piece of evidence get there, says Eno. And then the cave troll roars. It's named a cave troll down here. And they say, what was that, huh? Oh, ho, ho. It almost feels like a cave troll should be running at me and fighting me now. It's some kind of grand finale. So, sorry, the idea is... It was a cave troll the whole time? A cave troll moved the evidence? There were 2 unidentified samples, one from the kids and one from the bog. I mean, I've totally lost the plot with it here, really. Leave your comments! And hold on, if I go recently completed, Cryptid chase. Fables and mysteries, Janthir is filled with creatures of legend. So what were the samples we got? An unknown track. They're not even named, it's just blood and fur and stuff. Sometimes you can hear a haunting melody. A cave troll wouldn't have a haunting melody. We returned to Echo. So then it was fight a warg. You guys watched me do that. Then I went for the Valravn event, but it wasn't procced, so I did that off screen. And then, yeah, and that Abogger, by the way. Do you remember we saw the Abogger when we were first here? And I was like, that's really weird. That makes me think of POF. It doesn't really fit in the map. Again, that's me underestimating the game. Again, because I thought, oh, ArenaNet must want diversity on the map. So they're reusing, you know, an Abogger. And to a certain extent, that's obviously true. But I thought they were just putting Aboggers around without particular regard for the climate from which they came and stuff. I thought they were just putting them down because they needed some diversity in the map, and that was as deep as it went. I underestimated the game, though. That's not all it is. There's one event with one Abogger, and it's an invasive species. They specifically talk about how it's an invasive species here, which kind of ties into the Janthir thing. So it was thought about, and it was... But anyway, so yeah, I did that. Then I saved a poison fawn. That was the really hard event I alluded to, by the way, and I actually tagged up in the map and asked guild chat, and everyone came and helped out. And then we killed the Bog Queen. Then we gave the samples. Unknown track 2. We came back... No, that was known track 2. The end? Question mark? Hint, the end? Alright, I'm not just a dumbass. This is left on a weird-ass cliffhanger. Sorry, is this... Oh, this is one of those things where it's like, WP, this is a reference to that really popular movie. I can't believe you've never seen it. A 50 is called a pineapple because the note is yellow. By the way, speaking about pineapple, complete tangent. Did I mention this on stream? I had a little cooking... what's the word? Test? Not test. Adventure. Whatever. This week. I saw on Reddit people were talking about, like, healthy foods. And so someone mentioned, like, pineapple. And I was like, yeah, pineapple's amazing. I love pineapple. But someone said you can cook pineapple. And it's really good. And in fact, you can put a little bit of cinnamon on pineapple and cook it. And it's, like, even better. And I've never just straight up cooked pineapple with cinnamon. It's a specific name doing that. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, so I was thinking, yeah, cool, healthy snack. I'll go for that. I looked up a recipe, and there's a recipe online about like cooking it in like a glaze, like a marinade, where you make yourself of butter, honey, salt, and something else. Anyway, you make this glaze and cinnamon. You cook the cinnamony pineapple. Just imagine these flavors, right? Really strong, really amazing flavors. And then you serve it on a bed, on a bowl of vanilla ice cream. And it slowly melts the ice cream, and it's hot, and the ice cream's cold. Oh my god, and I did it, and it's really good. So big recommendation. That it's no longer healthy, obviously, after all that other shit. But it's really good. Try it out, guys. Yeah, the pineapple law. Yeah, this, I have no idea. I'm too cerebral. It's just a joke. But I want to know what the joke is. I'm not too cerebral. I'm too stupid. Is it just that... I don't know. A cave troll did it? I don't know if I expect this one to get a sequel. That it was both a joke and real is just the kind of funny ending it deserves. Okay. Try pineapple with just a bit of salt. Yeah, salt was in the recipe for, like, the marinade. But I couldn't really taste it in the end. To be honest, I feel like I could have just cooked the pineapple with cinnamon and put on some ice cream, and it would have been like 95% of the experience. I didn't need the honey and the butter and all that shit. Anyway, right, okay, that's that done. Now, Life in the Lowlands. There's just a couple more books. Unfortunately, the first one on the list here is a Snargle book. So before we debase ourselves and read smut, and we just see just how far ArenaNet will go, you know? Every time I get to another Snargle thing, I'm like, how far are you going to push it this time? I mean, they're getting pretty overt. You know, it's going to be that thing in like 10 years, you'll look at the original Snargle things and you'll see that they're all really tame. But, you know, 10 years from now, because they have to keep pushing the boundary, they'll be talking about, you know, sucking on the 8 nipples of a char or whatever. Can't remember how many nipples the char have now. That was just a big discussion years ago. Okay, moving on. So, I have some comments from you guys. They're all about good, really strong, interesting lore ideas. I will go in any old random order, I guess. And we will see what we've got here. I anticipate this will take... I don't know. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say. Because there'll be someone... A lot of you guys have said in the comments... Look, I'm insecure about these sections. Because I feel the need to keep going with the playthrough, obviously. But this is fun for me. And I think it's fun to watch. And a lot of people have said, yeah, it's really good to watch. So, awesome. Some people have also said, oh, I just want a straight LP. But at the end of the day, right, like, buy it and play it. You know? You can get a straight LP... just by whizzing through it on your own. You know, I've never liked this thing in this industry where I'm just regurgitating a product so that someone can avoid paying for it. Like, I don't want to be that kind of service. Anyway. Let's see what we got here. Emily Malchieri. So, Emily says, in retrospect, the Coden kind of feel like the core Guild Wars 2 devs realizing that Norn bear form doesn't live up to the Eye of the North hype and going, but I wanted to be a badass nomadic bear warriors, though. Yeah, it's funny you say that because the very first Guild Wars 2 trailer that featured a Coden when it was doing the camera fly-throughs of the Norn areas in Holbrack. And I remember looking at that Coden thinking, oh my god, that's one of the bear forms. It was before any blog posts or any information at all. And it could have been a Norn. But ultimately it was a Coden. I wonder, actually, whether it was originally conceived as a Norn bear form. They were thinking about maybe allowing you to customize or something. But in the end, all those features, they just mean nothing, do they? So, Beta Ace says, I'm way behind on your stream of this game, but speaking of the char being defanged, I couldn't stand the moment where Malice basically apologized for the searing. But hey, I guess character assassination comes with the territory of being a char imperator now. Funny stuff. I don't really remember a scene of her apologizing for the searing. I think that is quite galling. That is a bit outrageous if that actually happened. I can't really remember it, though. And it's funny, we've been looking at the earlier lore here and thinking about the gods and giving magic. You know, the humans really fucked with the char, right? Pushed them out of their land, and yeah, there was infighting and stuff or whatever. Pushed them out of their land. The gods gave the races of the world magic. It seems possibly prioritize humanity, right? gave them a bunch of stuff. The Char were jealous and angry and mad at that, and they'd been pushed out. And eventually they reclaimed their lands, you know, and they did it through war. It's not like the humans are pacifists that have never been in combat. I don't know. It's been, and she's I can imagine the Char apologizing for assaults on Ore and Kryta. Okay, I can imagine that. But to apologize for the searing, I don't know. It's a fun discussion always, you know, with topics like this, both in game lore and in real world. You know, whose claim to the land is true, because you can just keep moving the clock back and different people were in control. Anyway, Stefan says, in my previous comment on your last video, I unintentionally made Isgarin out to be the generic bad guy with evil plans. What I really wanted to frame is more like what you said. He has lived for a long time and he's tired of the bullshit. I'm hoping that Janet writes him as not necessarily bad, but rather that morality escapes a being of his age and experience to a degree. Can I just pause there? You have a way with words. That's very eloquent. Morality escapes a being of his age. Very well put. I love that. And I'm hoping to see the commander's... And I think he has a nice, eloquent line in a second here as well. I'm hoping to see the commander's humanity clash with an all-powerful alien being in a morally grey space, where we both think we're right. I think a much more interesting story can be told, where they can explain his real intentions with Tyria and our place in it. Yeah, I think that's all true. I think there's a lot of good character analysis of Isgarin here, and I like that idea of him. Morality escapes a being of his age. And yes, there's these things about his naivety, but also he sees the good in people. You know, I don't really see him as a villain. When you look at that Waiting Sorrow story, right? He's among the Seers. The Seers, Sidoni, the leader of the Seers, and the Seers in general, they have this policy of not sharing magic. The Elder Dragons tried to get it, they hid it away in the Bloodstones. Don't give magic to the primitives. For better or worse, that's their view. It's the Prime Directive, alright? And Isgarin sees a stranger, but suffering, madly suffering. And just purely out of empathy for another living creature, Isgarin gets himself exiled from his own people in order to save Waiting Sorrow. That's a good guy, you know? And you can call him naive in retrospect and all that, but I think that what has motivated Isgarin is a desire to protect the people of Tyria. I do see him as... He's just a good character, you know? He's done so... And here's the thing, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? Like... He wants to help, but he makes mistakes as he does so, let's put it that way. And I think the Epoch story is a very good example of that. So yeah, I'm very into the whole Isgarin thing at the moment, very much. And I'm liking all your comments about him. On your comment about Paitha, addressing Isgarin as Your Highness. So yeah, just to recap in the last part, I alluded to this. There was a moment in Secrets of the Obscure where Paitha called him Your Highness. Now, I said in my recap, not yesterday, in the previous stream, your royalty or something? Your Majesty, that's what I said. Which is very much kings, queens, monarchy. The quote was not that. It was Your Highness, which in theory is not monarchistic. And I think that's important to note. In fact, Sidoni is called the Doyen of the Seers. Now, D-O-Y-E-N, Doyen. Now, as far as I remember last year with Secrets of the Obscure, I remember Googling Doyen. I don't think that's a real title that you find in real-world societies or anything. I think ArenaNet have purely invented that. It's a title for the leader of the Seers. How their society was structured, we can't tell, you know. Their leader is, you know, Doyen. That's just all we have, really. I like the word or whatever. But yeah, so it's not kings and queens. So in the last part, we were talking about this idea that he was exiled and... maybe he had a claim to the throne or whatever, or the leadership. Don't really know how important that is or where that's going. But here's what's really fascinating. On your comment about Paitha addressing him as Your Highness, Isgarin replied to Paitha, saying, no titles, not in my home. He didn't just dismiss Paitha as being sarcastic. Yeah, because we floated the idea that maybe none of it was true and she was just being sarcastic. But Isgarin didn't dismiss it as sarcasm. He said no titles. He saying no titles is necessary because she's an invited guest to his home, meaning a title of sorts does apply to him, ? So yeah, I think he was of a prominent position in society. I think he was perhaps closer to Sidoni than we'd guess. And ordinarily, I'd say I don't like moves like that in the storytelling. I want the universe to feel big. Not, you know, it's that thing where an American assumes all the people in the UK live in the same street or whatever. I don't want to believe all the seers knew each other and they were all at the upper echelons of society and stuff. Normally, I would say that I don't like that. However, Isgarin was probably in something of a prominent position to be the last one left. You know, like it's almost self-selecting in a way. But it's just fun stuff to think about. Aaron says, funnily enough, thinking about the Isgarin and the fractals. Yeah, so the fractals are a really weird thing for me at the moment, guys. Like, looking back, it feels like such an odd part of this story, doesn't it? There's so much interconnected stuff going on between JW and Secrets of the Obscure. So much interconnected stuff. But the fractals have barely had a look in, and that was like the opening set piece for the last expansion. It's weird. So I wonder whether ArenaNet still have plans. You got to remember, my whole thing about Kralogan, I was really excited about the idea of these fractals getting flung into multiple realities and stuff, and they had a Divinity's Reach fractal. They had, you know, so is that out in another realm somewhere? All that stuff's still potentially true and stuff they can look at. But it's just they're very quiet on that front. So anyway, looking back at the minutiae around the fractals is quite revealing as well. So as Aaron says here, ArenaNet has wrote an answer as to why why the Wizards' Court never showed themselves or interfered in the past, and it was because the fractals were being used to test scenarios. Like, did Isgarin run a fractal on the heroes of Guild Wars 1 for Nightfall? He saw them succeed in that fractal, and any other scenario for the commander. I don't know. Is that confirmed? Are you telling me that's confirmed or not? I don't know whether I remember that. But this is what they were doing. They were using fractals to get data about potential futures. That's what they were doing. Therefore they would know if they need to intervene or not. I'd love to see Isgarin used again, and for him to talk more about his dislike for the human gods, and to learn more about the human gods. Also, P.S. Zin is alive, and knew he was not real or in a fractal, whatever we call it. I hope to revisit Zin too. Okay, let's pause on Zin. Someone else has got a comment about Zin in a second, which is amazing. All right. Zin, fucking... Okay, we'll talk about Zin in a second. The gods. I mentioned a second ago I made a mistake on the last part. I got the Abaddon thing flip-flopped, which is really fucking stupid. I guess I'll draw on the map just like I was on the previous part. Gods come to Tyria. Gods get that hold of the Bloodstone. Are the Seers happy with that? Who the fuck knows, right? But the gods, extraplanar invaders, came to Tyria. They got the Bloodstone. They decided to distribute magic to the people. Now, last time, I said, but Abaddon disagreed and he got jailed. Wrong, WP. You're forgetting that that's not exactly how it goes. Gods come, they take the Bloodstone, they give it to the people. Then, King Doric, I forgot this bit of the story. King Doric migrates south. He begs Dwayna, take the magic away, please take it away. Dwayna agrees, they dump the Bloodstone in here. At this point... Abaddon says, no, I want them to keep having magic. So he gets exiled. So I got it flip-flopped. In the last part, I made the case that Abaddon was anti-magic and the other gods were pro-magic. But it's reversed. Abaddon was pro, the gods were anti. Ultimately, when they all arrived, they were all pro, but Doric made his pilgrimage, convinced them all, and so now Abaddon's the one left out, and he got banished for it. So, and in the previous part we were talking about all this in the context of the Seers, okay? The Seers made the Bloodstone to hide it away from the races. So when the gods initially come here and get it and decide to crack it open, so to speak, to siphon it, yeah, they'd be pissed. But then Doric comes and pleads with them and they agree to stop. What are the Seers doing during all this time? Surely the Seers are with Doric, right? Surely they're whispering in Doric's ear being like, bro, can you go? You're a human, they'll listen to you. Surely the Seers manipulated this. I mean, it's weird. We have absolutely no information about what the Seers were doing. No information about what Sidoni thought of all of this, if he was even alive at that point. No information at all what Isgarin thought about this. No information about what the Seers we met in Guild Wars 1 about this. But it's a big thing, you know. Like, and by the way, this isn't Janthir Wild, Secrets of the Obscure big thing. This is something we could have been talking about for years now. Ever since launch. At launch, where we hear that the Seers made the Bloodstone, all of this immediately became question marks. What did the Seers think about all this shit with the gods? And so, yeah, so ultimately, the Seers will have been happy with the majority of the gods and unhappy with Abaddon. Therefore, happy to leave him rotting in jail. And, you know, so maybe there was some kind of bargain struck. Maybe the seers encouraged the gods to leave or something. I don't know. It's all very interesting, and it's weird that Isgaren's there, you know, and it's like we could ask him these questions, but we don't. Not that he'd give us the runaround, let's be real. But yeah, so yeah, anyway, that's, oh, I'm missing the Sentry meta. We could stop to do the meta right now. I would like to do the meta. There's no reason we have to do everyone's comments and questions all at once. Let's see how long it is. Because I'd like to play this. I mean, I've seen it on the... The air is still and the storm appears to have subsided. I mean, I'll just wait here and see if it pops again. How old is that message? It hasn't scrolled off screen. So hopefully not too old. This map doesn't... Oh, well, do you know what? Maybe... Let's go to LFG. Janthir Sentry. Yeah, there's loads of people in the meta. This map just doesn't have it. One mythical... but they're all full maps. Everyone's in the meta, but it's all full. So I guess we have missed it. Alright. Okay, well, let's just keep going with some of these then. It was a miracle I caught it in the first place, I suppose. Okay. Aaron... I mean, a miracle I was looking at chat to even consider going there in the first place, because usually I'm just buried in this. Ooh. Where... I think this is the next one? Alright. Awesome DeBorsome said, wait, hold on. The Coden cub remarks on the Sylvari, right? So they've never seen one. It makes sense that the young ones have never seen a Sylvari before, but that doesn't mean that no Lowland Coden has seen one before, right? Or am I forgetting some other dialogue that confirms they've never met one? As far as I can tell, these Coden are like super isolationist. And yeah, I know it's weird that we ended up interacting with Canthons before them, but I think the idea, yeah, is people don't go there. The Arctic Coden didn't interact with them. These guys kept themselves away, and they really had never met Sylvari before now. It's kind of a big thing, really, and again, it's like a more expanded expansion. Could have talked about this stuff more, I think. But yeah, I think that is the story, genuinely. They'd never met any Sylvari. They're all very isolated. And it could have been, by the way, that waiting Sorrow was kind of nudging them to stay isolated for her own reasons as well. Alright, next we have Navy, who says, I really don't think Eparch was ascended. Now, this is a thing I hadn't considered at all. We've been talking about this idea of Eparch comes to Tyria, Isgaren takes him in. I really interpreted that lore as he ascended Eparch, but it wasn't good enough. But here, Navy says, I don't think he was ascended. I think he couldn't wait for the ritual. He tried to feed on Isgaren's emotions. I forgot about this whole thing of them eating emotions and stuff. He tried to feed on Isgaren's emotions and saw how empty... probably meaning jaded in this case, that the seer was. Yeah, I didn't think about that as well. The reason the demon remarks on how empty he is because he's got this emotion thing. And then he ran away. Because remember, that's another Sylvari connection in a way, right? That they're all kind of empathetic in a way. And then he ran away to feed on someone else, but quite literally this time. And it was the centaurs that got the bad end of the stick, the raw end of the deal. And by the way, look at this empathy that Isgaren has for the centaurs too, you know. It's not just that he's nice to Waiting Sorrow. He really cares. You know, you don't take any of the races, except maybe the Sylvari, in Guild Wars 1 and 2. None of them really give that much of a fuck about the Centaurs. I mean, a lot of them are actively at war with the Centaurs. But Isgaren's, like, really furious and upset on their behalf. He's a good guy. So anyway, personally, I see Eparch's story as weak and uninspiring. There's not much nuance to it. I don't know how you get that from what you said a second ago. He spiraled into the extreme after literally one incident and learned nothing from it, spending thousands of years tunnel visioning on his revenge and eating his own kind en masse. You gotta remember, Tyria is such a big... The idea that they're going for is that Tyria is big and vast and beautiful and has a lot of stuff, and also Asterisk is a special place in the mist for whatever reason. And Nios is a shithole with horrible air and just... It's disgusting there. It's literally like escaping hell to find heaven for a while and then being cast back down after God didn't listen to you, or, you know, the angel didn't listen to you. Like, I think... I have a lot of empathy for Eparch there as well. I like the story. I do. I think there's a cool interplay there. And then you're quoting a moment in the previous stream. Cryptids were looking for something in... Oh, yeah. So there was this question of, wait, were the Cryptids at Janthir looking for something? A lot of us have been talking about that, like with Barvanissos. Why were Eparch's people here looking for something? What were the Cryptids looking for? Clearly it's related to Barvanissos, but what? Anyway, I said in the previous part, I don't remember that detail. Where was that detail from? And it was... I do remember it now. It's from the very start. Do you remember? Like, where we basically opened today's episode. There was a moment about it, yeah, where they said, oh, they were poking around. The initial hint was the second story step. You can check my own stream at part 1, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. Really enjoying the Janthir Wild streams. Thank you very much. Thank you for the compliments, guys. It is a real treat to play Guild Wars and be enthusiastic and excited about the lore and all that stuff. I'm just as enthusiastic as hopefully you guys are. So, oh, we already read that one. I'm going backwards. I'm curious if the structures we found in Nio, says Anthony, look more architectural and less fleshy, are the Masart ruins that the Cryptids occupied after the Masart were kicked out, or what they devolved into. Yeah, I think what you said, that was what I was trying to express that on the previous part. I probably didn't do it very well, but yeah, I like the idea that the demon wizard's tower, if you will, or whatever, the amazing stuff you see. Yeah, maybe was made by the Masart. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? Long ago. Before this, Nios nuke went off, so to speak, or whatever. Next, we got Doodle. Doodle says, I'm reposting this because I think it got caught in the spam filter when I originally posted it on part 6. I left a comment on part 5, some special ambient dialogue between two spirits in a graveyard located in Janthir Century. WP hasn't gotten to the spirits to spawn in the LP, so I'm bringing it to light again because I found the interaction unique and cool. I encourage anyone interested in the story of Gavriel to travel to the graveyard and try to get the spirits to spawn for yourself. Getting the spirits to spawn is a bit tricky, but not as troublesome as I made it out to be in my original comment. If you are interested in hearing dialogue but don't want to or can't get it to spawn, here's a link to the wiki. So the graveyard is located at the POI, the Second Blood Tree. So I did read this and I thought we'd got it. I thought there was a moment. So let's see here. The Second Blood Tree. That's the Immortal Oak. Here we go. So I will go there and we will chill while we read more comments and see if it procs. But there was a moment, I don't know, I'm trusting that the commenter here has seen all of the material. But there was a moment already, right, where we saw 2 ghosts spawn. They talked about Saul D'Alessio. I mean, it wasn't it was cool, and it was referencing one of my favourite characters. But it wasn't like mind-blowing stuff from what I remember. But we'll see. You know, maybe this is a different thing. A lot of Cryptid environments look like the Torment from Guild Wars 1 Alona. Was there lore in Secrets of the Obscure that connected those? They look like Torment from Alona. Well, look, Nightfall, which was the demon realm invading this realm. Oh my god, it's a Masart. Fuck me. Do we have dialogue on? We do. There's 2 ghosts.
Does Saul want us to wither into nothing?
Of course not, Unseen One. I need more time. There are so few villagers left, and if we kill them all at once...
That does not sound like a problem worthy of my audience, does it?
No. It's not worth your time. I just...
Silence. Blood is needed. No matter the source, even if you need to kill my children.
Your followers? You want me to kill the White Mantle?
Reverent blood can be quite powerful.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That... Okay, obviously it's really fucking cool to see a Masart ghost. Holy shit. This is the 3rd Masart, guys. Here, look, Guild Wars 2 has had Lazarus. It had Maban, and now it's got this thing. Oh my lord. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, also, not just that. Like 3 parts ago, someone mentioned something about blood and bloodstones. And I said, oh, that's just the name of the bloodstone. Don't get too hung up on the blood. It's just named because of after the pilgrimage with King Doric, they sealed this deal. They reforged the bloodstone. They sealed this deal, and he cut himself on the stone. That's why it's called the bloodstone. I didn't think that blood itself carried much actual power or meant that anything that deep for the Bloodstones. The thing about the Bloodstones was really just that they store magic. But here, ArenaNet have very directly said, no, blood is a big thing. It's not a coincidence this is all sanguine and stuff, and called the Sanguine Crater, and it's the Blood Hill. Blood is power. And with it laid out so clearly like that, number one, that's kind of news to me. But number two, that connects all this to the amazing shit from End of Dragons. With the vampires oligarchy that is clearly feeding on civilization there in order to perpetuate the celestial blessing or whatever. And there's an immortal zombie child. Oh, Ashu, this is crazy. Suddenly, Act 3 of this might have Kaineng City in it. Or something. That's I mean, they've got to do a connection between the two, right? Maybe once this whole arc is done, if this is a trilogy, so to speak. But there's a very clear lead-in back to Janthir there, guys. Wasn't I just talking about Minister Lee, like, 2 parts ago? And the fact that he's in jail, and I kind of want to see that he gets his blood sucked. Holy shit. That blood thing's huge. See, this is the other thing. We can read all the books. We can do all the side stories. There was no guarantee I would see this. It doesn't even print the text in chat in the bottom left, so you'd best hope you get it right. Yeah, that's really good. Wow, excellent recommendation. If you guys find any other cool ghosts as we go along, bring them on. Drop your comments. I'll go find them. So here, he's basically saying... So look, my understanding from the Guild Wars 1 story... By the way, these mobs constantly attacking me. It's just unbelievable. My understanding from the GW1 story is they would take the Chosen with, like... the Eye of Janthir would find the Chosen. These were just people with, like, a lot of magical potential. Magic within them. I don't know. Whatever. And they'd sacrifice them on the Bloodstone. And that would store their soul in the battery. The soul was the thing full of magic or whatever. So the richer the soul, the better. So you see how blood doesn't really play into this. Then the soul batteries have souls in them, and the souls are spent to keep the door charged and shut. You're spending souls to keep shut an entrance to the mists. Blood doesn't come into this. But now, I'm thinking that blood does play a factor into it. And they're going to recontextualize it a little bit and basically explain that, like... I don't know, this... Your soul leaches out of your body via the blood. I don't know. Your soul weighs an ounce, guys. Did you know that? A guy was in hospital and they were weighing him on the hospital bed. And he died. And as soon as he died, he weighed 1 ounce less. He weighed an ounce less. There you go. Science is fact. Well, we had a donation. Thank you. 50 euros. Egomaniac. Thank you. Thanks for the lore videos. Janthir Wild's beginning tells us all about the things going on around Tyria at the moment. It feels like they want to set up a starting point for all people, new and old. Do you think that could lead into Guild Wars 3? What, like kind of like a movement of the world type thing? I don't know. I think that's premature. I think if they are doing another Guild Wars project, a new MMO or something, we're still 2, 3, 4 years away from it. That's my feeling. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, obviously we don't know the studio's finances and all that, and you know how desperate things are, or what the publisher wants them to do, and all that kind of shit. But I feel like it's got quite a few more years in the oven, so I wouldn't look at anything too tangible like that. I think those are setups for Guild Wars 2. I think they're setups for mini X-Packs in perpetuity. Because I also am kind of a believer in Guild Wars 3 as a thing in just another area of the mists. So that's my feelings on it. I don't see them as direct Guild Wars 3 setups. I think you're too premature. That's my feeling. I don't know, but that's my feeling. Okay. More like 5 to 8 if it's only in the concept stage. Well, how do we know that? It's probably been... They've probably had concepts for Guild Wars 3 for years. I'm just going to say probably in quotes there. Almost definitely. So... Let me find the next comment here. Mostly because I want to keep this going. I don't want this to become a massive... You guys can chat amongst yourself about Guild Wars 3 if you like, obviously. But that's just a huge topic and a big, obvious distraction. It's probably better for me not to indulge in. So yeah, anyway, cool stuff. Amazing, Doodle. Good job. Thank you. I thought I had seen the ghost to which you referred. I hadn't. We have seen it now. That's brilliant. Okay, Foghorn says, I think we're bound to meet Ulrich, Tatiana, and Judge in the future. Now, if you guys remember, these are the White Mantle entourage with Caudicus during Season 3. Caudicus was forced to turn around and ended up getting killed by the commander. But these guys went on, and they're probably in Valravn right now. Foghorn says, I think we'll meet them in the future. I wonder if, on hearing the news of Caudicus' downfall, one of them will have promoted themselves to Confessor. Perhaps they're fighting over the title amongst themselves. Just because, and that would be quite... I can see this story, by the way. Writing the White Mantle fanatics as buffoons that are prone to infighting. It feels very much like what they might do. Just because Caudicus was killed doesn't necessarily mean that the White Mantle organization was stamped out, does it? I mean, yeah, there can be lingering threads. Might take a while for them to reform, and perhaps with a Confessor Tatiana at the helm. Hold on, I have to go... Well, you know what? Ranger privilege right there. That fucking pet just... Let's go mace to cleanse. Just killed that thing for me, basically. Right, let's climb up here. Oh, I do like the current sharpening I got right now. Anyway, maybe. The other point they have is, given Rat Assume is an anagram of Messart, and don't forget, it also is like Latin for I deduce. I was wondering if Bavanisos was an anagram for something. And I wondered the same thing. So far I'm drawing a blank. Curious how you can make Vars out of it, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's anything. Vars Bonya? Was Bonya Vars' surname? I joke. Well, kinda. You can also make Basin. Vaso Basin. Sova Basin. Not seeing it. I hope there's a deeper meaning to the name Bavanisos, though. That would be cool. And I have to believe that the writers would have thought of that. It doesn't mean they did anything with it, but I bet it came up in conversation at some point. So we'll see. Can you guys get a good anagram out of Bavanisos? We have a whole community here. It's great to see you and the community reinvigorated like this. With all the talk of Nyos, this is from Marth, by the way, and all the involvement of the Astral Ward, I feel like Secrets of the Obscure could have justifiably been spread across 2 expansions. One could have just introduced the idea of the wizards, wizard magic, brought back Zodja, explained Ascension a bit more, etc. The second, and by the way, gone into the fractals more. The second could have gone into more detail about the Cryptis, their relations, their connections to Tyria, and taken more time to tell a better Civil War story. The stated goal was always to tell more self-contained stories, and that's not at all what's happening so far. I suppose what's done is done, but the more the story ties back to Nyos and the Cryptis, the deeper that tragedy becomes. It's funny, actually. I think it's fixing Secrets of the Obscure for me. These connections and reference and continuation, they are to Secrets of the Obscure's benefit. My opinion on Secrets of the Obscure has massively turned around over these 9 videos. Massively. Not completely, but it has been turning around. So I'm glad they're doing these connections and talking about it more. And yeah, you know, what you're essentially expressing here is it would have been nice to do more. I think that's always true. You've got to be careful, you know. It's like stories are very fractal-like. You can keep zooming in and in and in and in and in and find entertainment and things to expand on. The more you expand, the more you can expand, you know? So at a certain point, you do have to say, okay, is this story big enough? I do think that, yeah, they tried to cover too much. They went too big. They themselves reflect on that. Let's remember, guys, it was only a few months ago. We all felt awful about this stuff. And there was that post, that retrospective, that ended up just very PR buzzwordy, didn't it, really? But even in that, even as timid as they were about this public self-critique, even in that post they did say the story was a bit too big. But they get it, and you know, that's our privilege. We get to just have hindsight with everything. They don't. It'll just be something to watch out for in the future. Don't go too big. Really, and by the way, it's funny as well, they are constantly writing more story. Yearly mini-X packs. I like this thing where they're not too self-contained. Just flow into one another. And, I don't know, I think they can fix things. Where one mini-X pack didn't explain something quite well enough, the next can pick up the slack. Obviously, it's not ideal. Don't rely on that too much. But it is of benefit, and it's a thing. It's a value to this format. Anyway, here we got a very long one. But I love everything I read here, so let's do it. A bunch of different thoughts. Number one, the idea that was mentioned in an earlier episode that Mabon was casting a protective barrier around Bavanissos is very interesting to me. But I did just have the thought of why Isgarin would let us go here now without saying anything. Surely if Mabon was casting a powerful spell around his race's former city, then Isgarin would know about it, and why he was casting it, no. Very good point. Especially so if it was done to keep the Titans out of Tyria or out of Bavanissos, surely Isgarin would be fully in on this. And it's a really good point. So Isgarin knows we're now poking around right near the edge of Bavanissos. Is he nervous about the Commander doing that? The Wayfinder doing that? It's a good point. He must be in the know. Anyway, the Silvari being related to the Cryptids is also quite compelling. Ever since we saw the first pictures of Paitha, if I remember correctly, that was the collector's edition statue, wasn't now? I've always thought she looked a lot like a female Silvari, and even the Cryptid's armor skins you can get work really well on Silvari characters. At first I thought the similarities between Paitha and female Silvari was just coincidence, but now I'm more inclined to think it's very deliberate. A bit like how we noticed that some White Mantle in the Out of the Shadows were using Balthazar weapons. We kind of shrugged it off, underestimated the game. Only for it later to be revealed to be very deliberate. So that in its own is kind of a meh thought, but I think that they've got a really good point here where they say, though on the other hand, do we really need another story about the actual origins of the Silvari? We already had that with Morgemoth and the Mordrim in Season 2 and Heart of Thorns. Now it might be a bit more like, actually they're not just dragon minions, they're demon dragon minions. Especially if it turns out the Cryptids are devolved Masart, then it would turn out that the Silvari are devolved Masart demon dragon minions that are cleansed. Not saying I don't want to see it, but if it's a thing, I hope they do justify it correctly. That or just leave it where it is for now, as keep it as something for the community to speculate on. Yeah, I think you're right, that could get messy in a hurry, and they'd have to be a bit careful about it. I think if they are going to tell that story, the way that whole story is framed is the Silvari are the results of a very crazy mix of different events, and this is why we can justly call them unique. And they are their own thing. They got a mix of lots of different crazy things. And bear in mind, out of all that convolution you just mentioned there, that still Ronan and the original Seed Cave and stuff has not been mentioned whatsoever. But I think the thing to remember here, though, is there is more story about the origins of the Silvari and the nature of the Pale Tree coming. It's going to happen. It's teed up because of Malik. Malik, the other tree, like these are unquestionably things people would love to see. They're like top tier topics. So I think that they are, because those are on the table, the idea that they'll also roll in some Eparch connection or whatever, I don't know, I think is pretty valid. And, you know, we may hear about this demon, his brother that got eaten and all that. I think it could easily come all at the same time. And it's not a surprise that, to me then, thinking about all of that, that this expansion, Janthir Wilds, is talking about the suffering of the Pale Tree. You know, in episode 1 of 9 videos ago, I opened with my Silvari and they were talking about it. And I thought, oh, that's just a really cool interconnected nod for my specific character, my playable race. But no, they've kept mentioning it. It wasn't just a domestic thing at the start. All races, all Wayfinders, no matter their origin or creed or whatever, we've all been hearing main dialogue talking about the injured Pale Tree. That's why Kaith is here on this adventure. So I feel like not only is it an inevitable story, but it's a story we might get to sooner rather than later. It might even be Mini X Pack 3. If they're going to keep giving us shit around the Horn and the Maguma and stuff. And yet, by the way, this just dawned on me now. Oh, man. It's interesting we're talking so much about Silvari and the cave. And this expansion was here. And they set this expansion here. Why is Isgarin at the Horn of the Maguma? Look at this, and look at the raid stories that all happened around here. I can imagine Mini X Pack 3 being, like, in this area of the world. And if it is, I would say that's pretty well set up from the start. I don't know. What's this here, Arena? Malik's out there somewhere. It's going to be in that area. Anyway, we didn't even finish all of those yet. Another one. On Palawa Joko. Okay, this is where we're getting to Zin, by the way. On Palawa Joko, I feel like his story has been wrapped up already. First, First off, they're very straight about him being eaten by Aurene, meaning she's got his powers. Secondly, there is the Halloween side story, where you're supposedly getting his spirit, and it being revealed that it's just a fake. There's also the event in Jahai with an imposter Joko. Yeah, and I think I talked about that. Then there's the characters you mentioned that don't believe he's actually gone. They've done plenty of hints, etc., about him not actually being dead, and every time it turns out, no, he's actually just dead. Of course, they can twist it one way or another. I don't really see the point anymore. If they want to have a Lich return, maybe it'd be more interesting to have Kilbron return instead. Okay, I have to say, respectfully, I disagree. Kilbron's pretty fucking boring and played out. I'm not a big Kilbron fan. Meh to Kilbron. If they're going to do a Lich story and it's not going to be Joko, it's got to be that Lich that appeared in Drock's Forge in the closing years of Guild Wars 1. There's a really mysterious Lich that just appeared. Or a totally new character. Fuck Kilbron. However, and I also respectfully disagree with this. Like, they're playing around and flirting with the idea that Joko could come back. And to you, that gives you confidence he won't. Like, no, I think the fact they're flirting with the topic... You know, if you're being teased, you're looking for a climax at some point. Do you know what I mean? I think they're playing with it because... I don't know. It's very hard because I am just a bit of a Joko fanboy. And I want to be very clear. I'm fine if Joko doesn't come back into the story. We've ended up having loads of conversation about this in these past few videos. Joko doesn't have anything to do with any of this. The only reason I'm still talking about it is because I'm bouncing off of you guys, and then you guys bounce off of me, and then blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I think there's potential there, and there was something specific I was going to respond to there as well. Yeah, also, there's another comment about Joko in a minute. A very small one. Alright, completely random thought, only related to the stream because I mentioned the Tyrian fractals. Zin actually exists again in modern Tyria. Now that his fractal was pulled into the real Tyria. Easily forgotten. I was so hyped about that last year. Yeah, Zin's alive again. We heard through the Asura Council members that Rata Novus is actively being used again. Amazing. Yeah, remember guys in Janthir Wilds a couple of episodes ago? They mentioned Rata Novus is being used. And I didn't think about that, the fact that Zin's alive. I just thought, oh, that's cool. They talked about Rata Novus. And I moved on. Remember, in the Lion's Arch instance. I'm sure I said out loud, wow, Rata Novus, they're talking about. But what if... I'll just let this person have their comment, because they fucking nailed a cool idea here. We heard through the Asuran Council members that Rata Novus is actively being used again. We already saw some of this during Season 3. But she really made it sound like it's becoming an active Asuran city again. And now the original founder of the city, a version of him that actually built a successful version of the city even, is alive again. There's some definite cool shit they can do with that. And it would work really well in the next back about the depths of Tyria. You're damn right. If Zin has got to be put in a position of prominence in this... That's so cool. That's such a good idea. And by the way, it's such a weird coincidence you talk about this immediately after the Joko paragraph. Because they easily could have brought Joko back. I remember talking about this last year as well, if you guys go watch my playthrough there. You know, there's an Alona fractal. And they very specifically set the fractal in such a way that, like, it kept Joko out of the question. Because obviously this is a mechanism to get Joko back to life, right? And that was a fun thing they did in Secret, more flirting with it in Secrets of the Obscure. So yeah, as for a Depths of Tyria expansion, I'm a big fan of it, and I'd like to think the WoW expansion that just came out has convinced people that there's some great locales that you can do underground. I don't know though. I don't think it will be anytime soon, given this Kaineng thing, the vampires of Kaineng and the Maguma stuff and the Malik stuff. I mean, I don't know. I think they may be higher on the priority list. Don't know. Actually, you could even involve the non-stone dwarves from the other Tyrian fractal in such an expansion, exploring the former homes of the... Yeah, you could do an entire expansion predicated on, okay, we're finding homes for these people now, like, properly. Some possible rivalries between the Asuran dwarves, or between the fractal Asura and the Tyrian Asura. A rivalry between Asura and dwarves is a really fun idea, because we missed out on that. You know, like, the Asura only just arrived on the surface, and then the dwarves underwent the Rite of the Great Dwarf quite quickly and went down. So the two societies kind of slipped past one another, as far as the surface is concerned.
Persists, it does.
What's this? How comes I've got
The
dialogue?
stranger is turning the land into a swamp. If we root out the infected plants and remove them, the forest may be spared.
Okay, we're just in event range. She might start interrupting me, so I'm going to mute the dialogue for a second here. But yeah, this is all really cool stuff, I think. Really cool stuff. And then finally, to finish this off, about the White Mantle group still being in Janthir, it's not too unprecedented. They don't really have a way to communicate with Cordicus since he'd been relying on him sending messages. Obviously hard to do when you're dead, and now they're just waiting for him to return. It's pretty similar to Hiro Onoda, the Japanese soldier who continued holding out and fighting for Japan all the way until 1974, 29 years after his country surrendered, all because he didn't know the war had ended and felt it was unthinkable that his country had lost. These White Mantle could be similarly fanatical. And if I remember correctly, this Japanese person wasn't the only person like this. There were a bunch. Yeah, that's a cool story. I think I first heard about that on QI years ago. And yeah, I can believe it. And I especially want to believe it because I want to believe Interior is this vast place where, yeah, instant communicate. Not everyone has phones, and instant communication is a treat. So, yeah, fine. Good stuff. Next, we have Gruride, who says there's two ways the Isgaran story could go. Either they're setting Isgaran up to become a two-dimensional villain that is quickly dispatched, or we move into an era of grey, nuanced characters with friction and intrigue between allies. And then I love this. The track record isn't good. Hope dies last. I mean, yes, you couldn't have said it any better. I'd like to believe it. I hope for it. But as for the source of info that there was a cryptid culture before Epoch took over and devolved into brutality, I was trying hard to find it again, but I couldn't find anything more concrete than the vague hints at a time before Epoch became king and the bit about Mossin and art, unfortunately. Mossin, so remember guys, the great demon houses, one of the demon houses has almost no information about it. It's Mossin's house, and she was the one that gave them art and culture and stuff. She got killed by one of Kanaxai, by House Orcus. And there's a couple of hints about it, but we don't get much more. Are we going to discover Mossin has something to do with the Masat or something? I don't know. It's good stuff. Next. BattleBots 1. I was initially going to ask a question about the timeline surrounding the founding of the Wizard's Court and the last Dragon Rise. How could Morgemoth have snapped to Epoch if he was asleep? But since the Dragon Rise was supposed to have gone on for several hundreds of years, I guess many of the events happened during it, not after, and all those things were just happening while Glint was hiding their magic. I'm not sure how fighting a massive magical interspecies war and founding a world-protecting organization with powerful wizards and artifacts is done while hiding from the dragons, but maybe Glint was just that good. Well, look at what happened in Guild Wars 2. I mean, look, the Elder Dragons were the catalyst for change. People grouped up. They founded the Pact. Technologies came together. We built the Glory of Tyrion and we nuked him. You know, I don't see how that's too unbelievable. One interesting detail about the Orion Codan expedition. The conversation in the Alliance meeting said that the Strife sank with ore, implying that there were still Codan living there all the way out in 1071. Guild Wars 1's time. I have to imagine that the Call of Codan must have been related to the human gods settling Interior, or their collection of powerful artifacts, maybe Bloodstone or the Scepter of Ore specifically. The former claw of Sorrow's Eclipse, Enduring Icicle, indicates a similar call southward by Coda at the widespread use of magic causing imbalance Interior. Yeah, there's something they're building. I think this will be Janthir Wild's post-patches. As far as I can tell, I mean, I don't know, because we haven't even beaten the main story yet. But, you know, we got 2 steps. I can't imagine they get into too many topics here. Maybe they will. I am well aware of lots of people in the Discord and in live chat who are saying, "Oh, WP's about to experience some good stuff." So, I don't know. Maybe there are big topics coming, but we'll see. Zuhang. Oh, see, look, I'm dying even in the sky. Come on. Oh. Look at you. This is such a problem. Alright. Look, it's not really a problem, I guess. I mean, it is a vague aggravation, I think, for everyone. I appreciate not all players sit around, essentially AFK, reading comments. Okay, I get it. I don't need to be reminded of that. Okay, the whole Secret of the Obscure, the whole Secret of the Obscure story being a personal grudge between Isgaran and Epoch is really intriguing. When you look at things from Epoch's side, it's really tragic since he was only acting by his nature to feed when he was hungry. And I think also crucially, he tried to explain and he tried to get help, okay? But if you see things from Isgaran's side, then it's completely different. To quote Isgaran in the last sentence of Secrets of the Obscure, "I do not act without careful consideration. I have lived a long time with the consequences of my prior impulsiveness." That's beautiful. I didn't remember that was his last quote in Secrets of the Obscure. He acted on impulse and he saved Epoch. only to be betrayed, quote unquote, by Epoch later. There isn't really no right or wrong about their conflict at first. And, by the way we learn in Janthir Wilds, Waiting Sorrow did a similar thing to Isgarin. He saved her, and she abandoned the court without explanation later. I feel like Mabon's early description of Isgarin being naive is really accurate, and maybe these two eventually influenced Isgarin's character to become more cautious and slow at taking action. Bang on, I agree with every word, every letter. I think you're totally right. I think you've summed up his character. Next. We're near the end now, guys. Just a couple more. And some of them are quite short. This one's a fun one. A couple of messages from Jackal. Didn't Mabon say in the conversation in Bitterfrost that the tower was currently positioned north of the Isles? They said that the tower was north of the Isles, did they? Also, I also feel Joko isn't dead. We get loot boxes called his phylacteries, which I think Joko made as decoys, while the real phylactery is hidden somewhere. Yeah, to be clear, Liches create phylacteries. They hide parts of their soul elsewhere within objects, and then when their mortal body is destroyed, they can revive from them. So yes, you can say Aurene ate his body and got Lich magic. That doesn't mean she got all of it. The entire thing that she completely got rid of Joko kind of doesn't work when you think about phylacteries. And you're right, there are a lot of phylacteries around. Obviously mostly decoys, but yeah, we'd assume there's a real one. Aurene consumed his body and the magic in it, but not his soul, because it wasn't there. It was in a phylactery. And then he also says there was a note saying the Deep-Sea Quaggan and Largos rebuffed diplomacy efforts again, and that whatever's going on down there must be serious. That coupled with the fact that we've seen the Leviathans, which based on side would be a deep-sea creature, in seemingly shallow waters the last few years, is a sign for something. Anyway, here's the thing I really wanted to highlight. Listen, the flavor text for Aurene's bite. So remember when you get the Aurene weapons, each has like a cool little cryptic quote? The flavor text for Aurene's bite implies that she's hearing Joko's voice in her head, whispering dark things. That implies she consumed more than just his magic. That said, it's established law that the consumed magic slowly leaks out of the Elder Dragons as they sleep. So no matter what way you do it, Joko's in a phylactery, or the majority of his essence is in Aurene, you could say that, yeah, he just leaks out of Aurene ultimately. But I don't know, she's not really a normal sleeping Elder Dragon. She's a regulator, right? She's different. I mean, I propose that one story could be some crazies go and tap him out with a Shadow Stone or something while she's asleep. I don't know. Listen, again, guys, I return to my quote. You can justify it however the fuck you want. There's a million ways they can do it. It's a magic fantasy setting. The job of justifying, the job of universal coherence, and the logic of the thing, that's not a difficult job. It's not hard, and it's not what the conversation should be focused on. The conversation should be focused on whether narratively it's been explored already, which is why I think that comment earlier today was so good, because that was someone actually talking about that. Have we already done this? Is there value left in the character? Does it betray past storytelling? These are the real questions. And Joko's a tricky one for those. But yeah, okay, and finally, just nearly done. Just so you're aware, there's a book in Stoic Order's house that shows up after his journey to Lion's Arch, which is insightful with his thoughts about everything. I'd like to see that, because I'd like to do those lore books, possibly in a second. Asura Meta says, what if we find just a big crater where... This one's amazing, guys. I think I wrote the thumbnail based on this. Today's thumbnail... You'll notice all the thumbnails for this series have like been a crazy bullshit, insane, speculative ideas. In fact, I had a comment from someone saying, WP, I'm not playing Janthir Wilds yet, and you're spoiling me. And I thought to myself, like, well, play it. It's not that long. At least play it. But I'm not spoiling, really. You know, like, I've got a thumbnail saying a second Balthazar. It's not really... It's like my old video saying the pale tree is a dragon, and then the video itself didn't even say that. But whatever. Today I put one up about... What did I call it? Amnitas, the Golden City. Why is that today's thumbnail? It's because of this comment. What if we just find a big crater where Barvanisos used to be, and then learn that Amnitas is basically the Masat city lifted into the sky and rebuilt? The description would definitely fit. Gold trimmings and alabaster towers reaching the skies. You're right, it does. It describes... We talked about this in the last part. That description from that short story describes the wizard court architecture. down to a T, it describes the Wizard's Court architecture. Hope to learn a lot more about Isgarin and his secrets in the upcoming releases. And this person got a response from someone else who said, awesome idea, however, it would rob us of the Golden City. I guess, but I have 2 comments to that. One, would it have been that good anyway? It's kind of this thing, you know, where, like, it's probably better to imagine it than actually have it rendered in-game. Especially if it's not in the original release of the X-Pack. For some reason, I got it. This is so wrong of me, but I've got it in my head that the stuff that filters out in the 9 months after has to be lower quality. That's obviously not true. But, you know, is the budget there? Let me just put it that way. So maybe it's not such a crime to not see the real Golden City. Secondarily, though, a less cynical and horrible take, a better take probably, you can have your cake and eat it too here. The Wizard's Tower can just be a part of Barvanisos that Isgarin salvaged and lifted into the sky. It can just be an area of it. We can go to Barvanisos, the golden and alabaster city, and find a crater within the city boundaries. You can have both with this. It's not either or. There's no dichotomy. So there you go. And finally, the last comment from Hardy. Someone else said in the live chat, but I love the idea that the mouth of Zaitan are Coden. Oh, look at all these great comments, guys. The creature's origins were not explicitly stated, and you can see how it could have been a Coden visually. So these are the big fat Zaitan minions with the mouths around their bellies, and you could imagine maybe that was a Coden at some point. I love it because it raises the possibility that the specific lore was there from the start, like the Coden with no voice thing. Actually, thinking about it more, a raised Coden being the mouth, or the voice, if you will, of an elder dragon is pretty ironic. No, symbolic. Yeah, the mouth of Zaitan is like who communicate. He eats the artifacts and stuff, but he talks to you, doesn't he? The eyes don't. The mouth does. The mouth of Zaitan is like a mouth of Zaitan. Let me put it that way. Is the penultimate boss of a Ra story mode. The thing you fight before Zaitan itself, if we don't count all the badass dragons. It's like at the battery area as well. I think you're really onto something. I think it'll be really cool if it turns out that they're the mouths of Zaitan. And the whole voice thing, and they become the mouths. It's really good. It's really good. Just need some tangibles to become real. So there you go. That's the comments. And I'm sure you guys have got more, and I'll happily read them in the next part. Question is, what do we do next? So, I mean, I've still got lots of normal things to talk about. I'm kind of itching to do this story step. Should we go to the Bloodstone now? Let's see what is going to happen here at the end of part 8. I'm very, very curious about this. And then we can look at maybe the Lowland Coden books after that and continue along. Oh, WP, what are my thoughts on the PvP mode? I'm not excited at all. I ranted about it a bit in Spud Discord. Listen, guys, I'm not going to be covering... So for those out of the loop or watching this in the future... They did a blog post yesterday where they said that they'd already announced they were going to do a new PvP mode. They've called it Push. There's a really early version without art and stuff that you'll be able to playtest. It's basically pushing the cart from TF2 or Crystalline Conflict from FF14. I think it's a waste of time. I think they've got very little time and money, and I think they've wasted it on Push. Look, I love the PvP. I love Conquest in terms of, like, you get a good balance of scouting roles and 1v1ing and team fighting, and there's a lot of magic to Conquest. It's a very difficult learning curve, but Conquest is really good. 2v2s get boring as fuck. 3v3s get boring as fuck. Old Courtyard and Death Ball, all these formats get boring as sin. I get bored by large-scale world versus world stuff as well outside the spectacle. It's just giant meat grinder bullshit. It's just team fighting with, like, ultimately very hybridized builds. There's a little bit of intrigue sometimes, but I think it's just going to be a grindy, boring shithole of a game type, really. I'm not excited about it, and I'm really dismayed, actually, that they even think... Like, for me, it's always been get tutorials in for Conquest, get excitement in for Conquest, show people when these tournaments are happening. The tournament changes they've made have been amazing, but they need to get a population there, because the matchmaking... There are literally, guys, about 200 people on planet Earth that are any good at Conquest. And the matchmaking is terrible and desperately needs to be improved. The whole thing feels like a mean, nasty clique. There's got to be more people there. And splitting that tiny game mode in half to spread over another game type that's probably not going to be very good. It's all a waste of time. It's a terrible, terrible idea, as far as I'm concerned. This is all just my opinion. So I'm not very interested in it. I'm sorry to be a downer, but it's not a hit for me. We'll see. I mean, I'll keep my eye on it. I'm open to being wrong, and maybe I will get addicted to it or something, but my instinct is ugh. And I won't be doing a video on it. Did we read this already? Notes on the Titan spawn. I think we did because we didn't get a ding there. The Titan spawn, referred to as shards by a few of the locals, act in subservient fashion in favour of their progenitor. One of my research assistants has hypothesised that they're no different to white blood cells. I remember that. Okay. What's going on here then? So help Gosta contact the restless spirits. Oh, I really want to do the event though. But this is a group event. Exercise Gosta with the heart of the obscure. Maybe we did that already. No, I'm not going to do that. I want to do the story instance. Here we go. If you don't take any action, PvP will wither. Yeah, I didn't advocate taking no action. I said that a new game mode was the wrong action. There's plenty of action that can be taken. Just keep it around Conquest. Or, and I'm also open to them totally killing Conquest in favour of the new thing, but they're not doing that either. This wishy-washy shit is what ruins Stronghold, in my opinion. Okay.
So you do have nice things to say about me when I'm not around to hear them? In good hands, hmm?
Seems I spoke too soon. Thought you were with Pokey.
He's fast asleep. I asked Har and Willow to stay with him so I could tend to some business.
The business of listening to our calls? That right?
If you don't want me to listen, don't give me a damned listening device.
That's been a real theme in the story. People
I
listening.
heard that you're looking into bloodstones. Thought it could be of use. Rather, the heart of the obscure could.
Oh, are you finally going to talk to me about the heart?
On.
If the Titans are siphoning energy from bloodstone, neutralizing the shards may nullify their advantage. Something the heart of the obscure should be more than capable of.
Risky, but it's worth a shot.
I'm inclined to agree, though it is an unpredictable material, even in small quantities.
Yeah,
Be cautious, Commander. Last thing we want is to turn this place into Bloodstone Fen.
They should have the Bloodstone chef guy here, see whether he's managed to do anything good with it. There are no culinary applications for Bloodstone dust! Right, so what's our theory? We can just... We're just full MacGuffin mode, are we? So the Titans are siphoning energy from Bloodstone, and I think if I had managed to do the open world meta map, we would have seen that. I think it's just a Titan in each corner. One's Greer, one's Decima, and they're trying to feed from the Bloodstone. So the Heart of the Obscure can neutralize the shards of the Bloodstone, so the Titans can no longer feed. The Heart of the Obscure is more than capable of this. The Heart of the Obscure can neutralize the shards of the Bloodstone, i.e. drain the power out of them? So is the Heart of the Obscure itself some kind of a shadow stone? I don't know. I mean, how deep do we want to get into the magical logic of the thing, you know? I don't really want to be honest. We're just going to get into aetherology lessons again, aren't we? That ghost stealth, but I do think it's still here because... Oh, there you go, it died. Because I was in combat. Waiting Sorrow is using a spear, is an Ellie with a spear, so it's using the etchings and stuff. That's super cool. My god, the animations. Yeah, it's dead, don't worry, it was one little fly. Yeah, I see sometimes people ask questions in chat. Please feel free to respond to each other when I can't, because, you know. I like the idea of having a bit of a community feel there when we're talking to each other as well as just... let's neutralise this. Okay, so we neutralise the Bloodstone with the Heart of the Obscure. This is like OP shit as far as I can see.
It's going to explode!
We're doing what the Elder Dragons couldn't.
Get back! I'll cover you!
Kind of. I mean, these are shards. This isn't a complete Bloodstone. Seek shelter in here. Oh, wow. Nice animation. Not bad. Whoa. Really not bad. Good job. Holy shit.
Who are they?
It looks like a mushroom
They must
cloud.
be victims.
Oh, here they are, rare.
Those sacrificed on Bloodstone remain tethered in death. Unless severed.
Oh, shit.
These
We're getting
spirits had to have
details.
died well over a century ago. May have seen the original Titan rising.
Couldn't hurt to ask what they've witnessed.
Yeah, but let me pause, please. Please, let me pause. Don't just... Oh, they let me pause. Okay. They definitely drew that as a nuke, right? Like, that was a mushroom cloud and everything. That was crazy. Is this to bring us to mind of what it would be like on Tyria if one of these things properly blew up? Is that where we're leading? Okay, so very explicitly, if somebody is sacrificed on a Bloodstone, their soul is trapped here. And when she says, unless ... severed, I think that's alluding to stuffing them in a soul battery. That would be a way of severing them. Or also what we're probably about to do. We're probably about to break them up or something. I don't know. I'm really trying not to think about the faux fire ghosts and how that might be similar here, by the way. So yeah, these spirits might have died well over a century ago, might have seen the original Titan rising. Let's see. The Guild Wars 1-1. So Rhea never saw... I was wondering if she got out alive. She doesn't seem to have.
Traitors! Saul sought to foil the Titan prophecy, yes, but not by sacrificing the blood of our own. When he returns, your treacheries will be punished. The names of the May twins shall be stained in White Mantle history.
There's the May.
We're lurking in shadow, readying to stab me in the back, aren't you? Fitting.
Oh my god, okay, so... That ghost dialogue we heard just now, recommended by you guys, that was like 10 out of 10 timing. That open world ghost dialogue, in which we saw a Massart commanding these guys to kill White Mantle. That's excellent background info to have for this. So Rhea finds out that some Mantle have been killing other Mantle. Because there's not enough bodies, because they're running out of villagers, as we saw in that side dialogue. So she's found out that some White Mantle are sacrificing other White Mantle. She's mad at them. So look, it's more just White Mantle infighting. She doesn't realise, though, that a Massart commanded those guys to do it, I guess. It's not really treachery if the Unseen Ones themselves are pushing them to do it. By the way, that little ghostly moment we had out in the open world is also evidence of a moment of someone that's not Saul directly speaking to the Massart. Remember, they're the Unseen Ones. The idea is they don't really show up. I had the vibe that Saul was the only one to whom they ever appeared. But there was someone else there that was speaking to them. So she's calling them oh, and here's this thing. Saul sought to foil the Titan prophecy. Okay, listen. Saul sought to foil the Titan prophecy. What does that mean? That means Saul knew. Okay, basically what I'm trying to get to is this question of, like, how in the know was Saul? How complicit was he in the evil things that the Massart were doing? How much did he understand? How much of a bad guy was he? You know, and I've been trying to figure this out. He at least knew about the Flameseeker prophecies and that the Massart were condemned to die to the Titans, and he was trying to help them avoid that fate. That's not necessarily evil or anything. Like, a Massart could come to him and say, look, our race, we'll save you from the Char, but look, our race is doomed to die. You got to help us. He's not necessarily a bad guy for saying, oh, okay. But the thing is, though, that quote Saul sought to foil the Titan prophecy, yes, but not by sacrificing the blood of our own. That sounds like he knows sacrifices are needed. This is all new. There was no information before this as to how much Saul knew about all this shit. Prior to this, it may have been that he just got abducted, and then afterwards, Dorian and co started setting up the sacrifices. But it sounds like he knew the whole thing. The only way in which he doesn't know the whole thing is the Massat are lying. They abduct him, but this is all before the abduction. And to do that story is very nitty-gritty and possibly too convoluted. You know what's constantly going through my head as I do this Let's Play, guys? It's, okay, this is really fun. We're going to spend 2 to 3 weeks doing this. Really enjoying Guild Wars for the summer mini X pack. Awesome. And then it's going to be like barely anything for 9 months. You know, just small patches coming in. How much will I remember? How much will my old man brain retain? Like 12 months from now, I'll be speaking into this microphone guy. Hi guys, welcome to The Legend of Malik, episode 2, and I will have forgotten. Who's Rhea again? Rhea Ingham? She was, she's an Ascalonian, isn't she? I'll be saying shit like that. Let alone like really detailed little things. Anyway, what does she say? Where? Lurking in shadow, readying to stab me in the back, aren't you? Fitting. Easy, spirit. Your mortal disputes hold no weight in death, nor do swords. What the fuck? When did I start speaking like a badass? Who wrote this line? Not the commander. Your mortal disputes hold no weight in death, nor do swords. Jesus.
So, you come to spew blasphemy? And to whom do I owe this discourtesy?
Okay. To you, I'm a prophet of things to come. And you're Delesio's bootlicker? Question mark. This is amazing.
You look nothing of a prophet to me, and I would certainly know. I am Rhea Ingham, leader of Gavril, appointed by Saul himself. I oversee this village and its proceedings.
You talk like a politician. Take it by proceedings, you mean the murder of innocents on the Bloodstone.
You're more informed than you appear. I won't waste your time speaking in riddles, then. It is true that stopping the prophecy of the Titan's return comes with a cost, but the lives saved will be...
This is great, because...
The unseen ones vow to this future, and so do I. Those who have sacrificed themselves have not done so in vain.
Look at how they justify it to themselves. This is great, right? Because prophecies is all about this, but you never once hear the Massat, the White Mantle, reflecting on this stuff. Not once, for 1 second, is there anything that really rounds it out. It's like this is key stuff that we're getting now 15 years later. And I'm all for it. Saul lied, people died. That's a good way of summing it up, yeah, certainly. As if they had a choice. You all died in vain, thanks to the Titans.
But not before the Massat turned on you and your little dress-up club. Slain on the Bloodstone like pigs to slaughter. That's the future to which you vowed.
How could... I refuse to entertain your madness. Leave, now, or you'll be the next cast upon the stone.
It really points out how tragic the White Mantle, you know, they were pawns, really. They were promised a better future. They weren't getting it. It's funny, though, because... Is there a chance that... What's his name? Manakaz? Was there a chance that Manakaz's group did have niceness in store? No, I mean, really, what were they? They just kept killing humans to keep the door shut. That was it. Oh my god, ArenaNet, teach me about Kamali. They're going to do it, aren't they? They're going to tell me what the fuck Kamali is, or who Kamali is, aren't they? They have been skirting around talking about the actual door the entire expansion. Like, they've got, you know, it's that thing of, like, it was a... What's the phrase they use? It was a dense situation or whatever. But I mean, look, if we're doing this story, we got to do this story. You got to talk about the door. You have to. Talk to me about the Onyx Gate as well, because I love that, just as a piece of the world building. I love how Prophecies is set up, that it's all about the big wall, the Great Northern Wall, and it ends with the Great Wall as well, the Onyx Gate, surrounding a volcano. And it's kind of not even really like shown off very well in Prophecies, but it's a cool idea, you know. Is there an Onyx Gate around Bavanisos? Are we going to see any Onyx architecture? Oh, speaking of which, a criticism of Janthir Wilds that I'm totally on board with, and I think is really fair. Some people were talking about it in Spud the other day. The map. Like, just green. Just sort of a green square dumped on. Now, look, it feels fine to explore and all that, right? And having sulfurous desolation and stuff. But I think it is fair to point out that every nerd that ever looked at these islands, both in Guild Wars 1 and 2, we saw the black stuff, we saw the Massart with their onyx architecture, and we thought it was going to be like obsidian and glass and all that, and there's just none of that. And I think if you were expecting Janthir, the Isle of Janthir, to have a bit of that vibe, and then you just come here and they didn't even remotely try to match that idea, I think, yeah, that's disappointing. And that's fair to be disappointed by that. I mean, these beaches, I guess these are like obsidian black sand beaches. They kind of went for it, I think, but they didn't really, whatever we all had in our heads, or a lot of us had in our heads, I get it. They didn't really hit that very well, and I think that's a fair criticism. There's always someone with a comment like that, there's always someone saying, well, I'm happy that they surprised us and did something different. But, you know. I think there is a real story here about expectations and when to satisfy them and when to usurp them. I don't think this was one of those places. But anyway, not that they didn't. Obviously, there's a lot of other good shit. Okay, it's about to explode. Let's look at this nuke. Ready? Ready? Set? It's kind of hard while we're in. Look at that shit. There's a giant... Oh my god, it's Manakaz himself. Okay, can I just pause? I mentioned I had seen a spoiler. I mentioned that I was on the wiki and clicking around and I saw a spoiler, and that when we got there I would tell you guys what it was. This is it. I can't remember what I was doing. It was one of the big discussions we were doing, maybe at the start of part 7. I was on wiki looking for something. Oh, it was when I was trying to find... It was the last part. It was when I was trying to find evidence of Massart in Naos. So I was clicking around all the loads of wiki pages, and eventually I got to a wiki page, guys, and it had Manakaz there, and I knew Manakaz from earlier in Janthir Wilds, but it was like a link, it was a hyperlink. Like you could click Manakaz, and I just instinctively clicked it. I didn't even think there might be spoilers there. I instinctively clicked it, and then when I got to the page, I saw a screenshot of him as a ghost. And then I thought, oh fuck, he must be in Janthir Wilds, and I clicked out straight away. That's it. I didn't read the page or see anything. But the fact that I was going to see Ghost Manakaz, I've known that for 2 days because I clicked onto it in the wiki. Again, I don't really care very much, but yeah. So here we go. Let's see what he says. I don't know what he says. This is cool. When I say I don't care, I mean I don't care that I was spoiled, quote unquote.
I normally require an appointment to speak with me. But seeing as you've interrupted my work...
This is the guy, really,
let's make
right?
this quick, shall we? You may speak.
Holy fuck, this is it! Oh, but I wanted more from him than just he's just a bit of dialogue? He's one piece out of like 6 objectives? This is the big Massart, right? The leader. Potentially, I mean, with regard to how Mabon referred to them. Look, let's have a full-on chat here now. Don't suppose your work is Bloodstone related?
Ah, follower. Manakaz, or the Blood Phenom, if you prefer.
The Blood Phenom? Wow. Okay. You seem awfully proud of yourself.
Of course.
So he died
Should
here.
the scientists shun their discoveries? The artists be ashamed of their creations?
I bet you fancy yourself both.
Art envisions the world as it could be. Science makes it reality. My greatest work is born of their convergence.
Okay, Let's ignore the fact that this is Manakaz for a second. Let's just talk about the fact that there's a Masart ghost here. Someone killed this Masart here, right? You die on a bloodstone, you're stuck in the area of the bloodstone, right? Your soul needs to be untethered. So there's two possibilities. One, he died when this bloodstone blew up accidentally. Or two, the infighting among the White Mantle got like real fever pitch or something. Who the fuck killed him? If he didn't die because the bloodstone blew up, who killed him? Someone killed the leader of the Masart. This is all his, as far as I can see, this was all his plan, right? This is a major thing. Just that he's a ghost here is a revelation of its own. Art envisions the world as it could be. Science makes it reality. My greatest work is born of their convergence. Oh, I like him. Yeah, let's have Masart talking about science. That makes me giddy because of the parallels between Asura and Masart. The Inquest's instinct to flee and use old Masart's stuff to do that in a Ra Path 2. Oh. Makes cold-blooded killing sound almost poetic. Oh, we have a donation from Amayo. It's good to see you, dude. Thank you. Well, are you glad that you didn't have an actual bet that there was a Masart in Janthir Wilds? Wait, did I... What did I bet that there would or there wouldn't? I don't remember doing that. Was that like in part 1 or something? Does this count? They're only ghosts, guys.
It's not really Masart. It's just a ghost.
Yeah, oh, that's true. And another Masart ghost, so at least 2 died here. Who killed these Masart? I assume the Titans did. I think that's the most basic answer. The Titan Crisis, they come here, they kill them, either because they're hunting Masart, actively hunting Masart under the Scepter of Woe's influence, the Scepter of Woe, the Scepter of Aw's influence, or they came here to feed from this bloodstone somehow. I don't know. Apparently they can do that, and the Masart got in the way. It's a great, it's a very cool irony that they would end up getting killed here. By the way, one of you guys did propose in the comments. Obviously, I didn't highlight this, but the idea that the Titans just hated the Masart anyway and were just hunting them anyway. The fact that Kilbron had the Scepter of Awe was irrelevant. Oh, someone else had a really cool theory about how the Scepter of Awe could be a really bad idea to use at the moment. Fuck, what was that? I can't remember. Anyway, let's keep going. Makes cold-blooded killing sound almost poetic.
Death is a distasteful byproduct in the transference of power to Bloodstone. But the transfer itself is an alchemy of miracles.
The voice acting
and
right
maximizing the
voice
power
effect.
retained is crucial. If that amplifies the subject's pain during the process, at least it will be short-lived. And the end result, regardless, will be the same.
Squeezing every bit of life from your victims like a binding snake.
Whether you grasp the true scale of my vision is of no concern to me. Small minds breathe smaller opinions.
Oh, this is good.
Whatever helps you rest in peace.
Look at all that shit we've been talking about, these ancient races with Isgaran and being long-lived, things starting to feel petty and small. It's here in the Masart as well. Small minds breed smaller problems. Small opinions, sorry. Beautiful. I'm a bit upset with that conversation, though, because we didn't really talk any tangibles. But maybe that's fine. He's an insane ghost, blah, blah, blah. I really wanted tangibles, though. What the fuck? If he's actually the leader and that's all we get, that's a bit disappointing. However, I just had an idea. I'm going to make a prediction, guys. There's a word here that really captured me. Ready? Alchemy. Zizzle's experiment. I think the MacGuffin that... Something's gonna... I don't know what the specifics are yet, but Zizzle's experiment is the get out of jail free. Is the solution. Alright. Whatever they're about to set up, Zizzle's going to be a part of this process. It's going to be another... It's going to be able to reverse this, or... I don't know. But I think that will be... It's not much of a... a guess, is it? I want them to talk tangibles, and I don't give any tangibles myself, but I think that's very deliberate. The transfer itself is an alchemy of miracles. Zizzle's working on their own process for this. A way of doing this without sacrifice or something. So we don't have to have this distasteful byproduct. But to what end, I don't know. Alright. Okay, so Manakaz was a bit of a dud, really, because any old Masart could have said that. And all that stuff. I mean... Okay, no, okay, so look. He might not be the leader of all the exiles, but he was certainly the originator of the Bloodstone Sacrifice Project. Right? I would love to have talked to him there about, you know, maybe I've been overstating in my mind his importance. I would love to have talked to him there about Glint's prophecy. Like, if he didn't do that, if he didn't do any of that, the Titans, well, no, the Titans would have been released. Because how would they have kept the door shut? Oh my god, this whole expansion, I've been saying, oh, they've got to explain a reason why it's not why it would be a self-fulfilling prophecy anyway. Yeah, if the Masart don't do anything, the door opens, they get attacked. So they choose to do something, which draws the Guild Wars 1 player character's ire and ends up getting the doors opening regardless. It all already works out. All Glint really has to do is say that door's opening one day or another. That's all she really has to do in the Flameseeker prophecies. Which again takes us back to the door. Maybe the tangible details that'll be fun. We'll be hearing about the door of Kamali. Maybe Kamali is a Masart. But then who are the guardians of Kamali? 4 horsemen? I wonder if they'll reveal that those 4 horsemen were Masart horsemen. Oh my god, I almost ran out of time. What would happen if I did? Because there is no failure state in Guild Wars 2 missions. I got an abomination weapon. Oh, by the way, my inventory is nuked. And I'll also say, I had a whole plan to craft titanplate armour at the start of this stream, and I haven't done it. Whoopsie. But yeah, I mean, oh yeah, because I was going to tell you guys all this shit I did off screen. Oh yeah, we're not near reset. This heart was the last thing that I needed to do on this map. Over these videos, I have just accidentally done map comp, except this heart. So what I've done is I've pushed this heart to 90% completion. When we finish this instance, I'll finish that. It will give me map comp, which will be quite satisfying, I hope. But also I can buy the last titanplate recipe, and I've got lists ready to craft it and everything. I was talking about my thief and stuff. I guess I got distracted.
I've been here the whole time, huh?
Hello.
Sure looks different than I remember. So, how long have I been dead?
There are horses in the lore. The joke is the little thing about it is they're so rarely rendered in game for us to see on their own or discussed, but they are in lore. So how often have I been? So how long have I been dead? You're quite perceptive. Well over a century.
Thanks. I've always been quick on the uptake, if I do say so myself.
This voice actor's been in it loads.
A century, huh? Explains why so much has changed around here.
Afraid not everything's changed. The Titans have returned.
Returned? Getting the last laugh is a nice consolation, even in death. Once the White Mantle started taking out their own, I knew that'd be the end of this place. England wasn't so bad. But once those creepy twins took over, forget it. All hell broke loose.
Okay. So a little bit about the creepy twins. Sorry, I probably should have read all that. I just reread the conversation. I probably should have done it out loud. England wasn't so loud. Wasn't so bad. But once those creepy twins took over, forget it. All hell took... Yeah, can you tell us about the twins? You lived here before the mantle, then?
Yeah. I was out here trying to get my life back together. My former line of work was a bit... unsavory, you could say. But being a crook wasn't all I wanted out of life. there was more to me than just that.
I can certainly empathize.
So I started fresh. Had a job, a family, and then the White Mantle showed up. And here we are. Well, more. Incredible. Entire village full of ex-cons. And it's the zealots who morally bankrupt the place. Hypocrites, all of them. If only the Titans got to them sooner. Just wish that wasn't true of all of us. There were some good ones here. What a waste.
It's weird, I never thought of Kate as a crook, really. I know that her in-game profession was thief and all that. Maybe I need to reread the second novel? But there's very little in-game that really paints her as much of a crook. I think she's been way too hard on herself there. Alright, hopefully I haven't missed a nugget there, because I don't really have anything to reflect on with that. It makes me think a little bit of the outpost in Drytop as well, that, again, was sort of filled with unsavory types. So I guess he wasn't a particularly nice guy either, but at the end of the day, it's not nice to see these people getting assassinated by the White Mantle and taken advantage of. They never got over her stealing the egg. Yeah, even though there's like all these magical elements to why that happened and how that happened. Thief is thief. I guess I think of thief, you know, it's a name for the profession, but it's really just describing a fighting style more than anything. I mean, that's my interpretation there is not the right interpretation, it's just sort of how I end up feeling about it. What other examples do we have of that? Like, I don't know whether I think every single necromancer is... I don't know, it's just, it's a weird one, isn't it? Oh, here we go, here's the twins. So the twins are humans. I've been, well, obviously whenever twins get mentioned in this, there's this idea that, oh, is it Lissa? Especially when we're dealing with humans. Their ghosts are here, I seriously don't, and I don't want to think every time we talk about twins it has to be Lissa related. There's also this thing like Argreer and Decima, the twins, but if the ghosts are here, I don't think, you know, these should be taught. I don't think that they are, basically. But let's see. So Cordelia May.
Did you need something?
You can ask us anything.
Yes, ask us.
We don't bite.
Oh, they're really creepy.
Burn me. Don't these two seem fun?
They're really creepy. You know, I've been wondering about Malice being in this story for ages. Like, if you're gonna have to have a char, wouldn't it be way better to have a Flame Legion char? Bouncing off of all this stuff. Like, Ephraim would be 10 out of 10 in all of this, I've been thinking. But now when I see scenes like this, it's so much White Mantle related stuff. No, I don't know. Ephraim, any Flame Legion, Ephraim's too big again, because I don't want people holding high office wandering around in places like this. But a Flame Legion character would be so cool here, just to like bounce back and forth over like, oh, you know, if the Char never put this pressure on Kryta in the first place, none of these zealots would even likely be around. You know? I mean, the guild wars were happening too, but still. The twins stare unsettlingly towards you, smiling. They never seem to blink. I thought it was creepier when these were twin Massart, but okay. Don't suppose you know anything about Bloodstone. They never seem to blink.
Bloodstones are our area of expertise, you might say.
Yes, you might. They're quite powerful and useful.
Very useful. Our friends certainly think so.
Who are your friends? Your friends, the Massart? Care to elaborate? Are they actually going to say no? The Titans? Are these just like two totally psycho White Mantle that end up throwing a wrench? You know what I think is interesting? This thing about the original Titan crisis as well. In Guild Wars 1, right? We open the door, kill a bunch of Massart to do it, open the door, and Vizier Kilbron immediately twirls his mustache, reveals himself to be the Lich, and in that moment he opens portals all around Tyria, and the Titans start marching through them. So presumably one of the portals was opened here. But it's funny because it's like, that's a very powerful thing to do. How did he decide where to put all the portals? Presumably he opened one in Bavanisos. It just occurred to me that it'd be kind of a fun idea to think that he had people helping him out in different places, like allies. Because it's weird, in Guild Wars 1, he is like such a lone actor. He's an Orion. All the Orions are dead. They've all been sunk, as far as we've seen, below the sea. He's under the influence of Abaddon, sure, but he's like on his own. And it's kind of amazing everything he accomplishes. So maybe if we go back and look at the Titan Crisis and we round it out a bit, maybe we say there were some collaborators. Maybe that's these guys? Wouldn't it be interesting if these are like his thralls somehow? Who are your friends?
Bloodstone gives one strength. With strength comes power.
With power, one may do what they want.
Say what they want.
And silence what they don't.
Or who?
They're wasting our time. And they're putting my petals on end.
Okay, couldn't agree more. Let's move on.
Going so soon? Shame.
Shame indeed. Take care now.
And be sure to watch your back.
You never know
who might be out to get you.
It's a bit slow and clunky to pull a scene like that off, but it sounds like they're talking about the Massart in their capacity as unseen watchers. I asked them to elaborate on who their friends were. I even prompted them, are you talking about the Massart? And they just went off on a complete non sequitur about how if you get a bloodstone you can be strong, and when you're strong you can do whatever you want. Silence whoever you want. Who would they want to silence? Who would they want to silence? These guys are a real enigma, eh? This feels like post-patch stuff, I guess. Who did the twins want to silence? I'll tell you who they wanted to silence. That guy who died. That guy who died. He's in the log. Alright, prediction from me. That guy, I can't even remember his name. The guy who died, clearly killed by the twins, is really important to this story. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's the first thing you see as you come in. So it will be really cool later once everything's revealed to be like, oh my god, they explained it right at the start. I think this is big. I think when they say silence who we want, it's that dude. I don't know what he did. I should do the east one next. They're both east. This one's ever so slightly more east. So I'll assume, and I would describe the other one as southeast. So I'll go over here. They're just trying to be unhelpful. That's a quite boring answer to that, though, isn't it? I have to feel like there's something in there. Do you think it's just to show these guys are psycho? Do you think that's pure babble? Pure meaningless babble? Maybe. Also, look at this. What are they showing here? Waiting Sorrow can save us from the Bloodstone nukes. Where's this leading to? A Bloodstone explosion threatens to engulf Crater, and she puts a bubble around it, just like Jenna did around the city, but on a way bigger scale.
Huh? Huh? Where am I?
They're ghosts. They're out of their minds. I mean, they're clearly insane. It's alright, Cub. Just wanted to ask you some things.
Who are you? Where's my paw?
Easy, Cub. Catch your breath. Do you remember what you were doing before you woke up.
It's cool. Here we get a bit of old code and stuff.
Well, was out hunting. Pa was teaching me how to stalk prey. We were sneaking up on some game, and then everything went dark. And then some voices woke me up. One was Pa. He was yelling.
Did you see anyone?
It's all right. You can answer. This is a friend of mine.
Not at first.
I like how I have the demon pet with me.
I tried to stand to go look for Pa, but something hit the back of my head.
Like he's looking at little Norris, terrified.
Really hurt. And I was lying on something cold and hard. That's when I saw people.
Wait, I was laying on something cold and hard. That's when I saw people. You saying you're laying on the people?
They covered themselves with long cloths, but they didn't have any fur, just their skin. They were all around me, staring.
Wow.
Scary. Then I can't remember anymore.
Sorry, laying on something cold and hard, laying on the bloodstone.
To an innocent child.
Can I see my Pa now?
He's resting. And so should you. You can see him when
Wow, really good imagery. Just to be clear.
Promise.
Okay, keep talking.
Rest now, young one. You'll be with him soon.
Oh, I liked her there. She had that was a very tender voice. He was laying on something cold and hard. That's the bloodstone, obviously. So he gets knocked out. While he's out with his dad, basically this little kid got abducted. And yeah, they sacrificed not even a human, a Coden. Just an innocent Coden learning to hunt with its dad nearby. Got knocked out, thrown onto the cold and hard bloodstone, wakes up, surrounded by a circle of people. People with long cloths. Could be White Mantle. The descriptions of White Mantle clothes usually is sleeveless, white and gold. I think you could fairly describe the Masat outfit as long cloths. And look at that, just a giant ring of people staring. That's creepy as fuck as well. That like they're watching it in that like weird intense way. That's really horrifying. Love it. What monsters to an innocent child? Yeah, your daddy dead. Is the other one going to be the dad then? Is that going to be over here maybe? It's interesting to me that all of the ghosts are despawning except the twins. I might be about to have a bit more with the twins. In which case, maybe that's why people in chat are insistent that they're just being obtuse, because there's a little bit more in a second. Yeah, and they let him wake up before they killed him. Jesus. Waiting Sorrow's animations are kind of mad, actually. Look at this shit. Look. She knows where you are, even though you're stealthed or shadow steps. She's just smashing with the earth attack. There we go. I can't remember. Did I change my relic? I think I did. I say I'm not into the buildcraft, but I clearly am. Oh yeah, I'm on rivers at the moment. I have not seen myself get any alacrity, so... But hey. Alright, let's neutralise this final bloodstone. This has definitely been a good instance. Oh, he says they were like you if you are playing as a human. Ah. Okay, so not Masat humans. And that's fine as well, because it was the White Mantle doing it ultimately, not the Masat. And when the Masat were around, they were usually hiding. It's a Char prisoner. Well, we'll get a bit of Malice on this one, I'm sure. A Char prisoner. So hold on, the Crichtons take a prisoner of war. Or maybe just the White Mantle do, and then they... Because, yeah, they would so do this. They would so sacrifice the Char. Of course they would. That's a really nice idea.
Stand down. What's a Char doing here?
The game wants me to stand down. That's how you speak to a shaman.
What kind of shaman gets captured by humans?
Untie me.
Wow. Man, it's so... This is so... I don't know what new players are getting out of this expansion. but I'm fucking loving it. I can't really imagine playing this with no understanding of Guild Wars 1 prophecies. Surely this is all just gobbledygook. Is anyone in my chat, like, anyone? You know, there's the usual suspects that like to type in chat. I'm literally, right now, I'm prompting. Is someone watching this that had no idea, that is not very good with the lore and didn't play Guild Wars 1? What did you make of all this? Like, really? This is, like... Oh, it's great for me. I'll tell you that, but, you know. Go speak to an adept. Oh, man, I've got to set a soundboard up. You heard her. What are you doing in Janthir?
And what kind of abomination are you?
I'm a Sylvari, bitch.
I'll remove those shackles if you tell us what you're doing here.
Watch your tone.
Guess he doesn't want out.
My warband was camped in the Cascades when we were ambushed. They took a few captives, killed the rest.
Tell me about why you're in
there. Now. Between friends, I don't think I've got much time. They look at me like a meal, and they're running out of food.
Well, just as barbaric, you did turn a city to ash.
And what a bright day that was.
Oh, is this the Malice thing? The apology for the searing? Is this it? Also, Malice... Okay, I can excuse that Malice isn't a history buff. Okay, but the Char did not turn a... In fact, what is she talking about? What's she talking about? When did they turn a city to ash? They conjured the searing on Ascalon, which bombed loads of cities with giant crystals, not necessarily reducing it to ash. I mean, maybe she's sort of loosely describing that. They didn't make any headway in Kryta, unless I'm forgetting. Did they manage to burn a place down in Kryta? If there is detail about that, it would be in the Soul bonus mission pack, but I don't think so. Or the entire continent got sunk underwater. I don't think you described that as turning a city to ash. And it wasn't even them, it was Vizier Kilbron, which she probably knows. And even if you can describe the searing as turning a city to ash, let's say it's Kylo, right, which is wiped off the map, right? That's why we never see it. Even if you say that, this is Kryta. That's speciest, all right? Not all humans cared about Ascalon. Krytans didn't give a fuck. This wasn't retaliation for that. Also, he's just a grunt in the army. He's not fucking Bonfaz burnt fur. But I love the line, what a bright day that was. Oh, I can actually clarify. Oh, shit. Oh, dear. That's the WP classic right there. Yeah, let's pretend I didn't just rant and I just clicked. Ascalon, you mean?
The smell was magnificent. You could see the sky light up all the way from the Shiver Peaks.
Also, can I just say, similar to just now, I mentioned we never had any real word from the White Mantle about their actual practice of sacrificing. You know, Hableon just goes ludicrously insane, and changes his voice completely, and that's like it, really. Likewise, you never really hear from any Char first party about their attack on Kryta or Or. Not really. In all of Guild Wars 1, it's a big topic. Like, I can empathise with you going for Ascalon, but going across the mountains and going for Kryta as well, there's a huge moment for the Char. It's them overreaching, it's them being true aggressors. It's them, you know, it's no longer just a war about reclaiming their homeland. It's a big deal. You don't really ever hear them talk about it, so I would love to hear this guy talk about it. I want the commander to say to them, why are you here all the way so far from Ascalon? And maybe we can. I don't think we can, though. I'm going to ask him about the Titans. You notice, by the way, this expansion has very, very, very minimal dialogue choice. It's nearly always one option and one way through. And I think it's fine. They gave me that personal... They gave me that, There was like one charming, ferocious thingy thing at the start, wasn't there? One. The rest has kind of fallen off. But it's fine. I'm sure you can tell us about the Titans then. Yeah, so let's be clear, right? If he's Guild Wars 1 Flame Legion, he believes the Titans are gods. They are their gods for now. And they're going to be proved to be nothing by the end of all of this, thanks to the Guild Wars 1 hero. But he should be fanatically enthusiastic about the Titans. My question to him is, what Titans have you met? Why do you know about them? Who's taught you about them? How have they bestowed you their power? Because there's kind of a story going on here, guys, where the Masart gave the Crichtons power, and the Titans gave the Char power. And the Crichtons and the Char clashed. The Crichtons won. So you might think the Titans are the inferior of the two, but ultimately the Titans win against the Masart. I hope I've described that well. There's like a crisscross going on there. There's fun irony to the story, or interesting thing, wriggle of the story. Okay, anyway, I'm sure you can tell us about the Titans.
They will build us a bridge to the next world. 10 more years and this one will be gone.
What does that mean?
Whoa.
Doesn't matter. He was wrong.
What?
They all
No.
were.
Doesn't matter? Oh my god! Okay, they delivered on that one. So there's a bigger story there then. Because again, we got so little before. Why were the Flame Legion so enthusiastic about the Titans? Because they gave... Okay, moving into this, the thing is, like, the gods had given humans magic. They had lots. The Char needed their own source of magic. The Char had been pushed out. They didn't really have magic. But the Flame Legion got it via the Titans. So they encouraged the Char to worship the Titans. And with it came great rewards, like the ability to create the searing. Right? So that's the story. The Char did it for magic. That's it, though. That's really all we've had. All the years of this franchise's storytelling, it's just that loose idea that they did it for magic. There's no specifics. There's Char effigies around, and there's that one quest in the Realm of Torment in Guild Wars 1 where a Char meets a Titan and basically just gets told it was a pawn. That's it, though. You don't really hear anything else. So yeah, there is this thing. There's Crichtons looking to Masart for magic and defense. Titans, Char looking to Titans for magic. And the Titans versus the Masart at the top, and the humans versus the Char down below. But we never had any details. So this whole expansion, we've been getting more... The Masart bit, what Masart White Mantle bit's been getting rounded out, the Golden Path and all that. But here they're rounding out this half of it now. The Titans will build us a bridge to the next... Let me read this, but slightly different. The Titans will build the Char a bridge to the next world. 10 more years, and this one will be gone? 10 years? Why the 10 years time frame? Is that alluding to the Flameseeker prophecies? Just bits of the prophecies we, the players, never heard about before? 10 more years. And I get the idea of, like, I mean, it's very the Halo Great Journey right now, isn't it, really? It sounds sort of like they're just going to nuke and blow everything up and everyone up. It sounds a bit like the Titans' ultimate plan is to just destroy all the Bloodstones and bathe the planet in nuclear inferno or something. What does that mean? Now, finally, Malice says doesn't matter, he was wrong. They all were. What do you mean? Do you know? You're a Char that lives in Tyria. I'm just a player on Earth. Do you know? I mean, I would swallow that perfectly fine. But you have to talk to me about it. Oh my god, look. Get the Char player character's dad back in the story here. He's who we should have had, not Malice. Maybe that's why it's Malice, not a Flame Legion character. Because ultimately, ArenaNet knew there were going to be scenes like this in which to have a Flame Legion with you... Like, if Ephraim was here... Again, I don't think it should be Ephraim. But if Ephraim was here, he'd be like, yeah, here's the deets. He'd give us all the information. Oh, Geherin, my man. Also an underutilized villain. Oh, what if they do Geherin stuff? Whatever, this is silly. There's too much. Too many threads. They can't do everything. They're not going to do literally everything, WP. They're going to do bits and bobs. Look at these fucking people still standing here. By the way, I only really realised yesterday while playing that my skill 5 is giving super speed to my pet. I'm going to kill these spirits because I feel like there's an achievement for clearing everything out. Actually, there's not, because it's not on my bar and there's ones up there as well, so screw it. She's not just a char, she's Ash. She has to have a ton of secret knowledge. That doesn't mean lore and magical intel. That means, you know, military intel. It means spying and subterfuge and Order of Whispers style stuff. I don't believe that she knows deep secrets of the world just because she's Ash Legion. I think that's an overreach.
Think we've gathered enough information to put to work against the Titans?
No?
I'd say so. And enough blood-stained history to make me never want to set foot here again.
No, well, no, I'll come back.
Bloodstone got so powerful. Makes me want to keep anyone from using it. Titan or not.
What is it? What?
Power accumulated off stolen lives is no small threat. But it's not infallible.
Keith, it's destroyed.
As long as we're intentional in its use, the Heart of the Obscure is our most promising solution up to this point.
We're acting like it's intact.
Let's regroup at the homestead. We can check on Pokey, then talk strategy.
This entire instance is written...
May the innocent rest, and the wicked writhe.
This entire instance is written in such a way that it's like it was intact. Nobody's acknowledged there's been an explosion. Nobody's acknowledged that the explosion was, like, contained or anything. The only person who ever had any dialogue about that was me in the open world. And I didn't question it, which is really weird. I loved what Waiting Story there, by the way. May the innocent rest and the wicked writhe. That's fucking cool. There's something else I was going to say as I ran over here. Something that was on the tip of my tongue the whole way through this. It's gone, guys. I'm really sorry. Oh, yeah. No, just to put a cap on the Malice thing. Again, I know you guys are like... Some of you guys are like, oh, but she was in previous stories. She's a great friend of ours. Is she? Like, fuck. She was in a couple of minutes of the Icebrood Saga. I don't think she's just like a natural part of the team now. To me, it does feel like they picked her for a reason, Ash for a reason, and I'm very compelled by the idea. It's because, and look, they're talking about this Vi for Kana bubbling in the background. I'm very compelled by the idea. It's because if she could get the Scepter of All right now, she'd run away with it, or whatever else she may discover here. I'm compelled by the idea she's self-interested, and I want to see a little bit of tension there. So yeah, and I think that's why they picked Malice, because that story maps onto Ash Legion very well. It doesn't map onto, like, you know, Ephraim so well. Especially not Ephraim, because Ephraim's like a darling, isn't he? He's awesome, and he's a true fucking hero for the Flame Legion at this point. He's an actually good guy, and I don't think they'll trample on that, and I like that as well. Just my thoughts. She said she does want to be Kana at the start of the X-Pack. Didn't she? Well, they were talking about the Imperators were going for Kana. What was it specifically she said? Why doesn't she want to be Kana? We've had like 2 lines of dialogue out of her. What do we actually know about her? Almost nothing. She's not like our gal pal. I don't know where people are getting this from. But yeah. Alright, I know who... oh my god, what? Okay, the Packed Flower has got a very different thing on her mind right now. I guess the moment we reveal what we know is here now. Here we go. Yeah, I do remember at the end of the DRMs, they had that awful scene where it was just like... Who was it? It was Krisha, Rox, Malice... I think it was another one of those scenes people bitch about the male-female thing, because I don't think there were any male Char involved at all. But they were talking about the leadership and the future of the Char, and about how basically the women will see the Char through to the future or something. It was something like that. Again, that's not necessarily my interpretation, but that's what people were, you know, talking about with it. Anyway, again, I don't want to get into massive culture war shit, but basically, they did kind of have a sense that maybe the Char would go, but that was the DRMs. After that, with like EOD and some of the stuff later, they have been putting this Kana thing back on the table, and bubbling tensions back on the table. They have been. Wayfinder, was it? Are you not headed back to the homestead? And also, by the way, it sort of doesn't matter what she says. She's Ash. She's capable of lying. All right. In fact, isn't that what they said? Didn't they basically point out that people want it, but no one's formally declaring right now because it puts a target on your back, which is kind of the balance that they're always in. Wasn't that essentially the impulse of the scene? Alright, I know who you are, Waiting Sorrow.
Iskarin broke rules to ascend you when you were suffering. You're not just a wizard. You're a fable to the Bearkin.
Quiet! Quiet! Please. Don't tell them.
A fable to the Bearkin.
Alder. I am not a fable. I was just hurting. Coda's voice, it burned my core raw. It would rattle their worlds. Don't, please, don't.
I'll see you at the homestead.
Oh, we're like pissy with her. It's weird. Why is the commander so mad with her, though? We read one of the journals where the commander seemed really annoyed with her. But I don't know. I empathise with Waiting Sorrow so far. Maybe it was a bit cruel to Isgarin, who helped her out, to just bail on him. Maybe. But at the end of the day, you're going mad, driven mad by mist beings. I get it. It's cool. Well, we don't really have the full story either. But all we have is like a couple of collections from the end of Secrets of the Obscure. We get an Ascended thing here, by the way. It's Dragon, isn't it? Isn't that Dragon stats? Marauder, but with the ferocity flipped? Oh, no. Or was Dragon... What stat set is this, guys? Power, ferocity main, precision and vitality minor. I like it. Oh, no, I think that is Dragon, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's Dragon. I noticed one of the relic vendors was also selling not just Janthir Wild stuff, but Secrets of the Obscure stuff as well at the same time, which felt really like connected to. I thought that was cool because it would make sense they'd still sell you relics from the previous one. Finding balance, restore environmental balance. We didn't get any side achievements there, so hopefully we were alright. Index the health of each type of local fauna for graced by fire. We've got to index ravens as well, it looks like. And oh yeah, I remember that. Alright. So the big showdown with Waiting Sorrow. Oh, we're on step 9. It's hard to predict when a step will end, you know. A step's got like multiple phases and lots going on. Is it possible I go back to my homestead and step 9 is just a little thing at the homestead? Because I kind of don't want that to be the thing. Oh, it's amazing though. We just started step 9. We're on part 9 of the series and we just started it. We're actually behind now. 1 story step per episode. We're like behind. Okay, so let's do this now here. Basically,
his reputation grows
check it out.
with each passing day. He's all anyone is talking about around
I'm
town.
right near the end of the heart. And all I have to do is, I don't know, just hit random mobs. Was killing Moa giving it to me before? Killing some kind of thing in the environment was giving it to me, not that. This was while I was like looking at a lot of the anti-aliasing stuff. And there was a pomegranate event that kept spawning. Oh, in the north of the map as well, I saw a new event off screen where basically there's like paintings. You have to do painting, which was quite nice. Oh, we finished a mastery, by the way. Novice Handiworker, Crafting and Homestead Expansion.
The storm will reach us soon. And battle we must.
Ooh, it's the meta. 5 minutes till it begins. The approaching storm has made some Codans seek shelter, and fewer will venture into the dangers far from camp. Amazing. Do you guys want to do this? I'm going to squad up. Here we go. If you guys want to join, /squad join lists. I'm on EU at the moment. And, yeah, the more the merrier. I do want to finish this heart just before we start that as well. I was going to go craft my titanplate, but that would be back in Divinity's Reach. And we're not going to have time for that. But this will be cool. I think this is just... I mean, I've never seen it, but it's fighting Greer and Decima. in opposite corners of the map. I think there's a hero's choice chest. Oh my god, we destroyed that. That's really good. The thing is, right, this heart, it says complete events and help with camp tasks. And I don't really know what the camp tasks are. Food stores? But they're all just notes. They're just lore notes. I say that like I hate lore notes. So I don't know. And this is kind of really hard to do. And it's weird because I've been here maybe 4 times now and daily resets and I lose all my progress and do it all over again. Which is a bit of a shame. I was definitely getting progress just killing some random stuff though before. Just curious, did Waiting Sorrow lose her memory like everyone else seemed to when they ascended? I feel like she didn't. No, she did, but she was able to, like, as time went on, she was peering through and remembering things, and she was, like, haunted by her past. As far as I remember, that's basically the story. That's the vibe. And she was really captivating in Secrets of the Obscure because it was like, who is this mysterious off-screen character that is so haunted by her memories? Remember, there's basically that lover's note to Dagda. I read it a couple of episodes ago, in which she's saying goodbye. It's funny Dagda's not been in this X-Back at all, because you'd think they'd be building to their inevitable reunion. What does that say? That says that Waiting Sorrow might be dead in Part 10. Because they have no plans to put the 2 characters together anyway. Or it says Dagda's going to be a bigger character in the next patches. I mean, I feel like inevitably Waiting Sorrow is coming back to the ward. Unless there's going to be some kind of shock fucking out of nowhere. Wouldn't it be insane if, like, Isgaren's having, like, a hissy fit and, like, kills her? It's like, he's like, I always contemplate my actions. And you're just sitting there like, oh, no, you're just evil. Hope dies last. Shades of Grey? No, he's just pissed now and he's gonna... I don't know. He's a big character in this expansion, but he's kind of taken a backseat, you know. Right, these Moa are not progressing. Yeah, I'll go on LFG as well, actually. Secrets of the Obscure. No, not Secrets of the Obscure. Meta. There you go. I don't know how this works, whether we split across 2 groups or what. Man, like, what should I do, guys? What do you think I should do to progress this heart? I think this Moa counts? No? Kill the bug swarm? Is it like killing rats in Corterions? No? These Moa look a bit pissed. Oh god, people are obviously standing around now. Yeah, these Moa were not happy.
The storm roars on the horizon.
I guess I ignore it. Let's go to the...
yourselves.
Collect yourselves, but where? Where do we start? For once, the map-wide dialogue is actually of a benefit. A parallel I noticed, we released the spirits using the heart in that story mission. We did something similar when viewing the memories at Zakharos when we discovered Eparch's army. You're right, we did. At the very end of Secrets of the Obscure, we used the Heart of the Obscure. You're right, yeah, I remember that scene. That's a nice little benefit there as well, by the way. It was only 3 months ago that final patch came out. So it's not like you really forget the whole story. Like, I'm not too bad at that last patch. 10 seconds remaining. Are there any big arrows on my map telling me where to go? Nope. I'm just going to say sort of central. One of them's on the top left, one of them's on the bottom right.
Here it is. No time to quake with fear. Rigid we must remain. The strangers have woken. They've come to dance in the rain.
Oh, I love that.
Our one and only goal is to protect the camp. Every claw and spear. Raise them to the air.
Oh, wow.
Go. Fight. Win.
I've just crossed this goddamn river like 4 times, and it's obviously stopping me from mounting. Okay, we'll go top right then, I guess. Who do I like more, Greer or Decima? I don't know. I barely interacted with them yet. Greer, I guess, because he was the first. Decima seemed a bit more clued in, though, and more malicious in that way. Here we go. So we got Decima. Oh, music. New music. Summons conduits. Arcane beams. What do we do? Just hit her? Holy shit. Can zoom the camera out. That's good. I'm getting battered by something. Oh, I like the telegraph. What's that? That's just a player etching, right? 3. Oh, is it going to be a wall? No, there's a laser beam, and we weren't supposed to stand in it. There was a new telegraph there. That was cool. I got an evade from my jump there, completely by accident. I think there's like flak on the floor we don't want to stand in, so careful with however we melee. I don't think this laser beam does anything, or I can interact with it. That telegraph looks cool, but it's so far away. Who's ever going to get caught by it? There's weird towers around the outside. I'm not sure what to do with those, if anything, yet. I feel bad on a build. In a scenario like this, I wish I was on like a proper like bossing build. The Aegis someone's giving is like 10 out of 10. Also, it occurs to me, I could have been getting the Jade Bot Core things from EOD this entire time. I mean, why make a real build when you can go do that? I should have thought about that. Unless they get disabled. I doubt it though. Is that right or wrong, guys? So we're at Decima and we're doing more damage than the guys over at Greer are. But they do have a green commander tag over there. I feel like we're not going to get any interactions for a while. Maybe there'll be a mechanic at 75%. I'm a little nervous this might not clear, by the way. So if you guys are feeling like you want to help out. Because I'm kind of a sack of dead weight here, really. I mean, look at me. I'm barely hitting it. Oh, I went to read chat and I look back and I'm dead. Or I was low health. I'm getting knocked around. That was tricky. Someone was typing about the crab. WP finishes the final patch the day before this expansion comes out. I can still remember the last patch. Oh, you're right. You're so right. Yeah, maybe disregard that. A lot of people had to wait 3 months. Also, I think it was 2 days before, thank you. Not the last day. I think, anyway. I don't like how I've been pinged. It makes me think someone's noticed my shoddy performance. Here we go, 4% more.
You're kidding, right?
Haha, you're kidding, right? That's someone using Thieves Guild. A human using Thieves Guild. Because I think they're race specific, aren't they? I'm interested in that in FF as well, because I think there are certain emotes you can do that have loud noises. Oh, my time to shine! Break bar! Oh, yeah. Let's break it again, baby! Oh, what? Oh, I wasn't looking. It's a camera ranger. I can still do a lot of break bar damage while I'm down. Okay. I wasn't looking. He laser beamed me right in the face. I don't know if I can get enough Nature's Bounty stacks to refresh again now. Yes, I can. Oh, perfect. Oh, I've actually contributed with CC. Oof.
Weak they are. Mount your journeykin and topple them. Reveal the core.
Wait, I used the 3. Did we tie it around a rock again? Wait, what's this? Oh. Oh, we do kind of. Oh, okay. We're not around a rock, but... Oh, I see, we're just tying his legs up. This is cool. Is this what we should all be doing? This is a little bit of a repeat of the grub thing with the Bog Queen, actually. I saw that last one. It was like pointing over here or something. I was thinking I had to go around the tree, but I don't think so. I guess just reconnect and go again. No, we're just fighting again now. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. You probably want to think about this in terms of the convergence coming up, because I bet they'll have these telegraphs and things in the convergence. All right, into the green one. We want to catch these, don't we? We want players in them. Next. Oh, look at this, doing the mechanics. 2 soaks, guys.
You're kidding, right?
Oh, here we go, another one. Oh, it's actually really bad that I'm the commander tag, because I bet this was happening earlier and I wasn't contributing. How are we doing versus Greer? We're still slightly ahead of the other team, so makes me feel like we're somewhat pulling our weight. How long till it's up again? There's one. I see. Okay, I think I can see what's happening. What's happening is the Titan is trying to feed from or break from these conduits, these stones in the area. So when I stand in the way with 3 other people, or however many other people, we're taking the damage instead, thus keeping the bloodstone energy up. Does that make sense? So I think there's a failure state, and that is if it can eat all of the conduits. Fuck. Oh my god, standing inside is like brutal. So I think that's the game. Just DPS while standing in the green lines. And sometimes it's a red line, so be careful. And look, there's multiple lines up at once as well. I'm not sure if there's like a pattern beyond that for me to look at. Oh, there is. Ah, it's like Limit Cut or like Ministerly. They're numbered. Look. 1, 2. I skipped ahead a bit too quick there, I think. 3 is all the way over there. It's a little bit like Temple of Febe in terms of, because that was so far away, I think we have to spread out. So 1, we're on 2. So 3 is on that side. I'm going to stay here. How do we tell how many there are in a row? 4 is all the way over there. But those guys just died. What have we got? 7 minutes left and we've done half? Did this begin with a 10-minute timer? In that case, I think we're okay. Okay, I didn't contribute there. This one again. Got it. Aegis seems really useful here. Does it still count if we got Aegis? Did we soak? Now the red ones, are they no-go zones? Can I not cross even with a dodge? I'm guessing that when this is a bit harder in the raid, it'll be an instant kill if you try to go through a red one. And you'll have to set people up. Like there, see? It'll be you can't cross. But you'll need greens on. There'll be like greens either side. So you'll have to like set up properly. That's my guess. 20k hit there. Surprising to me. And just standing back a bit, I'm managing to avoid a huge amount of the damage. Makes me think I may as well just be on vert or something. Or Rev Staff. Rev Spear would be perfect range for this, because everything it does is range. Trying those 3s.
You must
okay, there wasn't a Warclaw phase at 50, so I'm guessing one at 25, which is good. That suggests to me that there's only one more Warclaw phase, and then which means we might be able to beat the timer. This is looking tight though, guys. Now the giant AoE like cascades out with waves, so it looks like we probably want to dodge into it. So that, oh god, nobody's at 3. Oh, I was at 3 and I got hit hard. I keep procking the Spear 3 out of the ambush. Isn't good. WP, make sure you know this is a Simu kill situation. People are probably killing Ghost slow in map chat. Oh, really? Okay, so Greer has to die at the same time as Decima. Okay. Well, they're dying very slow here. If we fuck the timing up, it might just be over. I don't know how much their health resets. If it's only like 5% even, it's still going to be really hard. We are on track for a kill, timing-wise, right now.
You're kidding, right?
There's something real shame about that, by the way. I don't have any solutions for this, but when you have boss fights where the only failure state is in rage, like there's no chance we lose this because we all wipe and everyone abandons the server. It's not going to happen, right? The only failure state is, are we going to beat that timer? And unfortunately, you can almost just tell. Oh, there's like a flak mechanic I just dropped. Just the average DPS. Are you beating the timer or not? Here it's kind of dicey, so there's a little bit of tension. But very often there's absolutely zero tension because you just know, you know. That's a bit of a shame. I don't know what the solution to that is, though. It doesn't really feel like a real fight, you know, where we're fighting. Oh, God. Uh-oh.
Nice one.
But you could just... Oh, we've got 4 minutes left? Okay, rest easy. It's fine. Something that takes the magic away from it a little bit with that, you know. I guess the solution is have bosses where they lose health in chunks, so the health bar isn't really representative of how much you've got left. But then it's like, well, what's the health bar doing, really? I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. And I'm not arguing, by the way, that there should be... Oh, look, that one became red. Oh, I understand. Once the thing breaks, it becomes... Basically, we're trying to stop red laser beams from being everywhere. Once it breaks it, they become enemy conduits. And this will only ever be red now. Oh, it just despawned. I thought until we broke it, it would do that.
Your journey kit, now!
Okay.
Shatter the armor from their flesh. Our spears will do the rest.
Well, that's weird. It's purple now. The gateway... These do not seem to be indicating where I should travel to. Just keep spinning, I guess. I love the UI right now on the top right, with like really red, Titan stability.
Get that!
I like this phase. You know, for years, there's been this thing of like, oh, Guild Wars 2 can have a raid with mount interactions. Well, now that people like mount on Warclaws to run bombs out at Doom, we might see it, guys. In 3 months, we might see it. They might do a raid where you get on the Warclaw and have phases just like this in the middle. I'm right in the fucking middle there and really shouldn't be. Onto that green. Oh, motherfucker. I'm right in the edge of it. You see that there?
Leave me be.
But I think what will be really good about that Warclaw phase is it's got to be like 1 or 2 people on a Warclaw while the rest are continuing to do damage and utility rolls and stuff. The whole squad just spinning in circles is going to feel really boring. But if it's a couple of people and you've got to like defend them, keep them healthy and alive on their Warclaws, maybe even only one guy, to be honest, then that could be really cool. Okay, we're at 18. Oh, we're fucked. We're not going to make it. We got 1 minute left. I've been going on and on about how there's no tension, but not actually looking at the timer. We only have 1 minute left. I guess this will require actual setup and a real build. I'll tell you what, we'll do this again and I'll have a real build. And we'll play over at Greer's area instead next time, so it'll be a bit of a change of scenery. But there we go, this is the meta at least, so we've seen it. I actually, this thing failed. I never participated in it, but it failed in the map that I was in earlier. And I thought, oh, it's because it's like the middle of the day. But it's not the middle of the day right now, it's prime time, and looks like just raw numbers isn't enough. We'll want to set up subs and make sure a good amount of boom coverage and stuff is around. Close, but yeah, no. The Titans have consumed the energy of the Bloodstone fragment. It's destabilizing. So this fragment here, I was thinking that the meta was going to be in the middle and the main Bloodstone chunk, but it's not. It's just these shards. The Titans have consumed all the power they need from the Bloodstones. Only time will tell what will happen to the island now. It's funny, because I'm dead, I actually can't hear the dialogue. Oh, wow, look, Decima just fucking quoted and laughed at us. Barbed Veil said, everyone run, regroup for next time. And Decima said, everyone regroup, we'll be ready next time. And then she laughed at us and said, yeah, run along. That's cool. We didn't hear it because we were dead. But it's there in chat. Okay, right, back to this heart, which I presume, surely now one of the random events will spawn. Something. I'm going to take my tag off, and then we'll give the people the impression that more stuff's happening. Kill them. Oh, you see that there? The mace fucking properly crunched that thing down real fast. Low DPS? Yeah, I mean, I don't have a build personally set up for that at the moment. You never quite know how tight the check will be. I don't know what was going on at Greer. Obviously, this map wasn't really set up either, so I bet the people at Greer was just a couple of guys when they're in the desperate hope that they could accomplish something. This one? Nope. I think they need the, like, madness symbol over their heads. This cannot be the way you're meant to do this heart. Has anyone got any advice? It's really annoying about the Warclaw as well, the cooldown to get back on and off of it. It normally takes about 10 minutes for events to start spawning again. That's quite a lot of downtime, actually, for regular events. But am I reliant on events? The only thing I can do here is events and killing these things for absolutely tiny amounts of progress. There's a lot of complaints about second map's hearts. Yeah, I understand that. Grindy is one thing. No activities or ways to progress it at all is another. Like, I assume I'm missing something. There must be something. It says here. Help with camp tasks. What is a camp task?
His reputation grows with each passing
God, this
day.
guy's voice is in
He's
this
all
constantly.
anyone is talking about around camp.
Is this true, Tarn?
It is Vigilant Dawn.
Okay, who are you? Greetings, Wayfinder. Spare a minute to listen to a rather ridiculous request. Okay.
Wayfinder, we were all just discussing the sudden popularity of a certain stuffed doll around the camp.
Build a quaggon.
Mr. Wiggles, was it?
Okay.
Quiggles.
Oh, we saw a thing about Mr. Quiggles, didn't we? I remember saying the word over and over.
Right now he is. He's cute. He's cuddly. And there's even tell of him bringing good fortune and warding off disease. Our bearkin are frothing at the mouths for Quiggles dolls of their very own, and we must oblige.
This could be very good for morale, that it could.
Very well. Get to work on making more comfort.
At once. I just need to gather the necessary supplies.
Nice, okay.
That's where you come in, Wayfinder. You're a very resourceful and well-traveled sword, that you are. Bringing us any materials of the Quiggles constructing sort that you find in your travels would be of great help.
Okay, cool. Yeah, build a quaggon. I'm down for that. That's fine. Okay, look, the events are back now. So in chat, I'm being told you are not missing something. This heart is only events. The others have stuff to do. So I guess when it says help with camp tasks, it means these events are the camp tasks. I noticed, by the way, in the achievements, they've been quite clever about the UI. Look, you've got side stories and then renown hearts in the UI here, showing your progress. Someone else just said, can't you just use the tokens? You can't use the tokens for your very first ever completion of a heart. The tokens are for the repeat completions. If I speak to the NPC first, I can't get into the vendor yet. You have to do it normally once, and then you can do the tokens afterwards. Which you'll see in a second here, because There we go. Instantly. Done. Support the Coden. And here I thought this camp would never run smoothly. The Lowlanders have come to this place from time to time to hunt, but never have we used it as a base of operations. We're very much in your debt, Wayfinder. Look at this. We get a chest for the event. Another thing. And Janthir Century map comp. The gift of Janthir Century. Used in the crafting of Janthir Wild's legendary items. Nice. So I assume both the spear and the backpack will use that? Potentially? That's cool. Let's see what this guy says. Wayfinder, your help across the region's been noted. What can I do for you? Show me how I'm doing with progress. I basically have none. This was my first day. What do you have for sale? So here, Titan Place leggings. Titan Place? Titan Plate. Oh my god, my inventory. There we go. Then there's also recipes for motivations. Homestead recipes for statues. Tables. Apparently I already know 4 out of 9 on that. And cushions. I know some of those because of scribing, right? And then I've noticed I can start to buy some of this stuff. The neutralized Titan alloy I'm close to. If I just refine some auric alchem, I could do that. Okay, so what I want to do here, guys, is I'm going to very quickly pop over to Liss. We're going to tell the packed flower to walk home. There's a cliff there, but that's fine. And while she's walking home... Wow, that's really weird. My instinct was all tabbed there, like I was going to multi-box or something. While she's walking home, we're going to log out, and we're going to go to Liss. And she is going to craft the Titan plate gear, and then we'll swap back and we'll skin it. Can I just say, Titan plate sounds amazing and would have been worthy as legendary as far as I'm concerned. I never really got captured by the obsidian armor. But can I just ask, anyone in chat got a full set of obsidian armor? And how do you feel now that you've got it? Like, during Secrets of the Obscure, I was not even remotely interested in actually getting it. I mean, I did a bunch of convergences and genuinely like convergences. I know that they're just grindy, empty content, but they were alright. Like, I have a lot of the currency for it, but actually crafting it, meh. I haven't even really got a good sense of what it looks like. Titan plate looks straight out of Monster Hunter. Alright, well, let's see. So, Titan plate, yeah, here we go. So, I haven't checked. Oh god, we might not be. Ooh, we might not. Is oiled stuff? Oh, as a tailor, I can't even refine the ingots. I have 0 ecto. Not a single ecto. That cannot be right. One of my characters must have withdrawn it and is holding it in their inventory. Alright, never mind. We're not making Titan plate. It's tricky. Hundreds of research notes. Oiled stuff. I don't know what linseed is looking like these days. Let's see. Trading post laggy as ever. 44 silver a pop. We could preview it, I guess. But I'm not going to, because that will be on Asura anyway. Oh, and this is tailoring. If I want to wear it on my Sylvari, I need to make the medium stuff anyway, not the light stuff. So what I'll do is this will be my homework between the next 2 parts. Just like I did all that stuff between this part and the previous, that will be my homework. For in the meantime, we'll just wear this sort of interim gear. You know, it's funny, I genuinely thought I was going to start today's episode, finish that heart in a second, make the Titan plate stuff, and then do the Q&A. And we're 3 hours in, and I've realised I can't even make it. But that's fine. Alright, up this way. That'll be something for next time. Ooh, so exciting, right guys? Yeah, the sharpening, and there's no shimmers and anything. It looks good right now, right?
Coming in fast today, they are.
I mean, the foliage
Spawn
a bit.
is steady.
Whatever.
Gotta move my rump.
I think it's just certain times the grass. Like, this grass looks alright as well. Okay. So we're going to get in Waiting Sorry's face at long last, are we? Are we finally going to stop and talk?
Hey, Wayfinder! Come here!
Hey, Wayfinder! Everyone's so, like, American. Okay, wait. As it turns out, Waiting Sorrow wasn't only unexpected visitor we'd encounter. The Bloodstone's explosion revealed the ghosts of several individuals sacrificed during the White Mantle's occupancy. Speaking with them, we came away with an unsettling picture of Gavriel, the village that stood here long ago, and the dark history that plagued it. Overall, our work proved bittersweet. By the way, I like how this is set up, you know, if you're ArenaNet, you have to think about the fact that, like, people might do this instance before finding the stuff on the map, or they might find the stuff on the map before doing this instance, and it kind of works no matter which one you do first. Overall, our work proved bittersweet. We leave with our strongest strategy yet for defeating the Titans, and a harsh reminder of the blood with which history's pages are written. So we went there just to eventually decide we're going to use the Heart of the Obscure to get rid of all these shards, and then the Titans themselves. With all that's happened, it was finally time to confront Waiting Sorrow about her true identity, as not only a wizard, but as a wizard of legend. Unsurprisingly, she echoed her request that I not say anything to Stoic Order, and to keep the additional details of her identity hidden from Pokey, assuring me that she'd handle the fallout. Has she given us the runaround? While my patience is running thinner than willows weaving the thread. Wow. Is that Sylvari specific? No way, right? I mean, it could be. The story journal can be racer specific, right? The genuine hurt in Sorrow's voice is a stark reminder that if I'm feeling worn down by this situation, the pressure she's under is immense. Ultimately, she's going to need to come forward, but she'll need to do it soon. Easier said than done, I suppose, but there's no way around it. Still, I don't envy her position. I may be wary, but I'll give her that much. Alright. Is this it? WP, all three weight classes is the same skin. You get all three when you make the piece. Nice, thank you. I should have anticipated that. That's how it works, really, isn't it? Usually, these days. Yeah, oh my god, the homestead. First of all, the ambience is like a 10 out of 10 right now. The frames are so good. It's so smooth. I like this instance. The Aurora Borealis, the skybox. Home, sweet home. There's also been no points in this story where I speak to my entourage first. It's just straight away get stuck in. We're muted still. Wayfinder. You okay, sorry?
Let's go over the plan. They keep regrouping and healing, so killing them both in rapid succession is our best bet. Decima is weak.
Wait. Pause here.
Oh, Willow was the mom. Okay, yeah.
Does he know?
No. But let him in. It's not my place to stand between the Claw and his son.
Okay. Stoic Order.
Come on in, Stoic Order. Pokey's inside.
If my son's involved, so am I. Aurora.
Stoic Order.
Wayfinder. I'm confused. Pokey. Aurora, what happened? I assumed you were dead.
No. But I did remember something that I'd long forgotten. Glimpses of my people. Someone I left behind long ago. My name is Waiting Sorrow. I am not who you believe me to be.
So, you spoke falsehoods.
I told you a small fragment of a long-ago truth. But my experiences in your village were very real.
And you knew about this, son?
Only a few moons longer than you, Pa. She is our fading Aurora. Just Stronger.
And magical. The air in this room has
I like the
never
chair I've
felt
chosen
so
to sit in
opaque.
while he's talking about magic.
Yes, but it's how she uses her magic. Not foul and evil like the strangers. She only helps. I was anxious too.
Little Claw, I don't need your defense. I would never let anything happen to him, Stoic Alder. I was content living my life as a healer in your village. But when Poki's life was jeopardized... Let's set this discussion aside. The Titans live and thrive. Trust me long enough to end this fight, to keep him safe. Whatever trial you need can happen after. I'm due more than one.
Do you plan on fighting too?
I do.
Sometimes.
He's
I
massive.
think I've forgotten her voice, your mother. But just now, I heard her laugh. I will fight alongside my son, for my people. But this discussion is not done. Waiting sorrow.
Oh, he says that with like real bite. Oh, and she backed up. Yeah, she's small compared to... He's fucking huge. He's a very interesting character. He's been in it a lot. I've not really had much to say or reflect on because he's not in like the big deep lore stories or whatever. But, you know, there's a nice emotional thing going on here. I'm a little bit worried about him with the Titan scene in a minute, but... On its surface, I really like this thing. Just about like a father and son relationship and kind of a bit of a focus on it. It's nice. Here, by the way, with my chair... You know, it's a cool chair with like a lot of pink bits in it. My character was once upon a time very coordinated with lots of these lotus flowers, the infusion. I think, can I get on any mount right now? Yeah, like it was all coordinated. And we're going to break it all now and just get into titanplate in a minute. But hey. No, he stopped having his arms crossed though. Keith had nothing to say. No. Hello?
How are you doing?
You know well the trail of disappointment I lay. But I've never yearned for forgiveness more than with them.
After we end this, we can have those conversations.
After we end this, Isgarn will tear my soul from my core and trap it in an echo.
What?
He's old. I can't pretend to relate.
I like you. I'm old too. And I'm tired of running.
That's interesting as well. Sorry. Oh my god, I'm speaking really badly here. I guess we're getting to the end of the episode. He's old, I can't pretend to relate is what I said. I really liked it as a line. When she said, after we end this, Isgarn will tear my soul from my core and trap it in an echo, is she talking about the Fractal Project? So there was a guy, a comment I did not platform. There was a guy in my comments who said, WP, Isgarn is abducting people and putting them in the fractals. Whoever you are, if you're watching still, I did see that comment. And it went on and on all about how Isgarn's evil because he's abducting people and putting them in the fractals. And I went to Spud Discord and I said, oh my god, I've quoted this guy. And I said, this is crazy. Is this true? I didn't realize this. Has anyone got a source for me? Because I'm not just going to take it at face value. I want a source. I want to see the quote in the game. And people kind of looked into it and said, no, this guy's just confused. There's a quote at the start of Secret of the Obscure that sounds a bit like maybe that's... But I don't think that's what happened. He doesn't take real people and put them into the fractals. I don't think that's the situation. Or if it is, Secret of the Obscure was not very explicit about it. But you're suddenly making me think about all that when she just throws that line out. She'll tear my soul from my core and trap it in an echo? It kind of sounds like she's alluding to the Fractal Project. Is that what she really, one of the things she disagreed with that eventually made her run away from the wizards? The ethics of the Fractal thing? Because that was kind of messed up and weird. I don't know. Again, I started this episode saying that ArenaNet aren't really looking at the Fractal Project very much in this expansion, but maybe. The human commander's response is different. Oh, really? What does the human commander say? Yeah, weren't those the missing people from Garenhof? Were they? No, they were just people that ended up joining the court, weren't they? Yes, that in Garenhof before Secrets of the Obscure, they were Garen the Wizards. Yeah, maybe we'll get to go up sometime. And there was this weird, sinister thing. Some people went up and were never seen again. I don't believe it was revealed that those people were abducted and put into fractals. That's a really cool story, but I don't think that is... Again, if anyone between this episode and the next wants to clarify, but I don't think that that is what was said. If that's true, that's mental and really, really unethical. Obviously terrible. There's no way it was that, right? Why the hell wouldn't the commander have talked about it at some point? Because that's ridiculously villainous. And it's this weird thing where we, the players, sometimes don't know all the information because it's strung out all over the place. But the commander should be in the know. We have to assume the commander's clued in where appropriate, right? So yeah, okay, also there was a donation. I'm really sorry I didn't miss it. I just wanted to let the scene play forward a little bit. Secube with 10 BGN. I don't know what that is. Thank you very much. That's really nice of you. And they have a question. They say, do you have a set in stone schedule for streaming in the future? Are you going to stream regularly from now on? I'm not sure I really like streaming. I mean, I like it in some ways. I don't like it in other ways. I like prepared things and blah, blah, blah. I don't know how much longevity series have. Anyway, so I'm iffy about streaming. What I can tell you, though, is I'm doing every other days at the moment. That's the schedule. Every other day and about the same time each day. And I've been doing that for ages. It's been going a Let's Play episode, then a stream day, then a Let's Play episode, then a stream day. That's been how it's been. I'm going to keep doing that through Janthir Wilds, and once we're finished with this, I'm going into FF14, which will continue the exact same thing. After FF14, I don't know. We'll see whether we're still having fun with it, whether the community's grown, whether I'm getting donations and stuff. You know, all those things will play into it. Basically, the more fun streaming is, the more chat activity, the more I can actually get a bit of money out of it, frankly, then the more likely I will keep doing it. But yeah, so right now it's just a plan. Janthir Wilds and then FF14. After that, I can't say. And thank you. All right, okay. So we get some optional dialogue here. Malice
Are you
first.
ready for this? Ready? If you handed me a knife right now, I might start swinging it. Yeah, I'm ready to kill a few titans.
Oh, it's suddenly feeling
It
very
would be an
endgamey,
offense
isn't
to
it?
everything Almora sacrificed if we didn't.
Oh, nice reference to Almora. Love it. Did Malice have much Vigil interest or relation?
Pa's upset. He thinks himself better at hiding it than he really is. But I've also gotten better at noticing this discussion is not done. Heard that one plenty of times. Just feels wrong when he says it to her. He's sweet on her. Don't know if you picked up on it, but I did right away. Of all my mentors, she's the only one that really stuck. Pa noticed my improvements. Then he noticed her. She'd even make him laugh. More than I could. Happiest I'd seen him since... well, in a long time. These strangers messed everything up. Need to beat their sorry hinds for good. The village will be safe. And Pa will see the good in Soros magic. And they can go back to being all sickly smitten. That first go around with the strangers was just a warm-up. This time, I'm ready.
It's really feeling like either stoic older or waiting sorrow ain't getting out at the end of this story. It's I don't know which, but it's feeling there's some dead man walking vibes going on here to me.
As soon as Aureen went to sleep,
One or the other,
I
but not
couldn't
both.
feel her. No more warmth whenever she woke, or heartbeat when she flew. It took me a while to get used to that. Missing her. But I have now, I think. I've made peace with it. If only our girl saw us now, fighting a titan. She'd be upset that we were risking our lives. But don't let me bore you with pre-battle musings. Moments like these make one prone to reflection. And I have a lot to reflect on.
Yeah, that's cool. See, I like getting a bit about Aureen at times like this. Yeah, throw it at me. It's nice hearing a little bit more about Kaith's connection with her as well. So hold on, but this is step 9. There's 10 steps, right?
Last we spoke, you'd stoked in me a firestorm on my son's behalf. How quickly you've fallen down my list of concerns. And how I wish that weren't the case. I may not look the type to be swept away by emotions' flurries, but I must be careful when I allow my heart to open. And to whom? Though I've learned this much to be true, no one is ever quite who we believe them to be.
Oh, I love it. He's very Isgarni, isn't he?
That rare soul may come around who we're willing to stake our trust on, hoping they come close. But this discrepancy I find before me is one I could have never prepared for. Instead, I find myself standing on the precipice of battle, my son at my side, preparing to fight, same as his mother before him.
And that didn't go well. Dude, he's so eloquent, and I'll tell you what, yes, the bears speak a little bit slow, but it's not a problem at all, is it? It's not a Pather kind of situation. They're just really pleasant to be around. Maybe it's because he has a good balance of lines, and Waiting Sorrow speaks quite quickly. So does Poizarro, I suppose. Okay, when I leave, is it going to have a pop-up, and I click accept, and then I'm on part 10? Or do we... Because that would be... Part 9 would just be a visit to the homestead in that case. Okay, yeah, alright. So, it seems we've got a fight, and then there's something afterwards. Is the epilogue its own part, maybe? I don't know. But it's looking like we're getting to the end here now, guys. So, I am going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. This has been a really, really fun one for me. Obviously, a lot's happened. Feel free to, if I've missed something you've said in the live chat, which I will have been prone to, feel free to drop a message. See me next time. I'll be in titanplate. And what we will do is we will finish Life in the Lowlands. We'll just have some lore books. And then we'll just get straight back to the story, really. I mean, there's this one here as well, Titan Researcher. This is pretty interesting. We still know so little. I mean, where did they come from? Why they're here? All this. There's so much we don't know. So, yeah. I think next time we'll do the books and Titan Researcher and story. And we might beat the story. Or we'll be, like, right on the end. It won't be the last episode of the Let's Play next time, no matter what. Whether we beat the main plot or not, it won't be the last episode. Because I would like to finish all of these side stories. I don't know what they're about, but I have been furiously recommended by you guys. I haven't heard anything about Build a Quaggan. This is just gather plant fibers. How long is this? This might not... Oh no, here, look. It looks pretty long. I haven't heard much about this, but this last one here, Locked, I think this is a post-game story. Getting the crew together? Oh no, it's an adventure or something. Anyway, apparently this one's really good. People really want to see me do this. So we might do that post-game. You know, earlier I said that I have to review Janthir Wilds higher than Secrets of the Obscure because I'm engaging in this stuff fully. But I think another thing is Secrets of the Obscure had so much of it as post-game. And it was all just, hey, go replay events. This has let me do it on my first run through. So maybe that's the key difference. I don't know. And then there's also Star-Crossed Lovers. Is this the one about the Wisps that we started? So look, there's plenty to do. I will progress the main story in the next part, and we'll shift to focusing on some more of these. And what that will do, the tail end of this Let's Play, it will give us a chance to really, you know, settle down in what we think for like the little Q&A sections, and you know, because we will have covered most of the topics at that point. So yeah, I'm keen to hear what you guys think about anything that came up. Thanks very much for your support. It's been lots of fun, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Next time, Zeus next, and I think I'm back at a colony, one that does not go very well. Take care, guys. See you soon. Wait, what's this? WP thinks he'll get any playtime next episode, but he doesn't know the tsunami of interesting comments Spuds will leave on the video. Yeah, maybe. And whatever lore is in the story stuff itself as well. Yeah, feel free to drop messages, guys. I'd love to read them. Take care now.